Howdy, folks, and welcome to Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign. I'm Joe, the Dungeon Master for the evening, and joining me are my friends Matt, the person in Matt's background, Miles, Allie, and Tina. Thank you for joining us for this evening. This is our 5th edition D&D campaign set in a homebrew setting. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on tonight, but just a couple of announcements first. Erica Volova is the artist who has done all of our character art for Morwen and Heinrich and Shae and a long time ago Guntir. But she's also come back and done some work for us for Akka. So up on our Instagram and Twitter and all the other social places, there is a new picture that shows you Akka, the elf artificer. It's super cool. Check it out. Thank you very much, Erica. She is at Frederica Draws _ on Instagram. So there you go.
It's also in the break screen.
Oh, it's also in the break screen. So check that out. Thank you, Tina. You'll also notice in our break screen there have been some modifications. Some of the art that wasn't there has been added, but then also you'll notice that the pictures of Guntir now are a little bit more appropriate for his station in life. So if you didn't see that during the introduction, check it out during the break, because that's when we run all of the art that's kind of been provided for the campaign, and it's pretty cool. Speaking of art, next week, I think, there's going to be some more art done for Guntir, perfectly timed. So it's going to depict both Guntir's time that we now know as the Gazelle, as well as Guntir's much younger years back in his hometown. So we'll see that. We'll get to see Brunhilde and a couple other cool parts of Guntir's past. Up on the website, going up tomorrow, I didn't get to update the lore document that we have going on, the Dungeoneer's Guide to Dominion, this week because it's been really busy. But tomorrow I can update it where it goes through, actually, I think the region that you guys are in the Somber Coast. So it has some of the areas of interest in the history and stuff like that. So very cool to check out. You can find it at alberonrpg.com/lore. And then finally, we're using Sirenscape for the music that you hear behind you and all the other sound effects for this evening. It's a cool digital tool set that you can use to bring life through audio into your campaign. Matt's leaning forward. You can bring audio into your campaign or your child's birthday party or to scare your parents, whatever you want to do with it. A very cool tool set. So check that out. And for announcements, that's all that I have. So we're going to jump into our recap. I'm going to restart our theme song because that helps me get into the zone. Finger Gang. When last we played, you closed the final stretch between 1000 Gates and Nocturne, making your way through the poison willow fields. The weather cooperated with you, causing the faint pink and white petals along with the dappled, variegated leaves of the willows that normally burst with a caustic pollen to freeze into drooping domes of ice that seem to almost have a pastel watercolor effect. With the faint bit of light that comes from the sun through the clouds above, Heinrich, you noticed that it was strangely beautiful. You're familiar, Heinrich, Nod the owl, you had appear outside of this dome and scout above, noting the brightly colored frog folk that seem to traverse this forest, but little else. That is until this massive behemoth of moving earth and skin, a huge head with gnarled horns of roots, and the elements of the willow trees kind of twisting into its wood-like musculature, burst forth from the canopy. Akka, you knew this to be a monstrous elemental known as a Fenstalker, and due to only Heinrich witnessing it through the telepathic bond he shares with Nod, were spared the witnessing of the sight of the creature ripping into the body of one of these grung or frog-like creatures. You quickly traveled through this space after that and found your way to the city of Nocturne, a vertical city of passages, walls, and warrens that has a footprint of only about 12 acres but houses nearly 50,000 people in its maze of 10 to 14-story walls and halls. Akka, you led the group to the Modrock, a place that you are very familiar with, the district populated by mostly Goliath and home of the famous street standard Akka, which also, Matthew, the rest of the group learned that your name means taco. You drank in this living hive of humanity for the first time and traveled to many places, carving through the quarter of justice or the quarter of law about 8 times over the course of the first evening. At their insistence, Aka, you led the group to the nicest restaurant in all the city, Celle de Mer, this upscale, elvish place with a gorgeous outdoor view and magic warmth, even in the winter. You all blanched at the price, deciding that tacos were enough. Aka, very disappointed that a meal that he had looked forward to for a very long time, no longer coming to fruition. But at their insistence, Aka, you led them up and into the district possessed by the Mirthful Masters, this sort of monastic group dedicated to the style of the drunken monks. You reached the Always Baked Bakery, where you purchased a series of breads, Aka, um, and then you deposited the group off at the Whisper Factory, a tavern of hushed tones and a wanted posters across the wall. Morwen, you found there, amongst the various faded and tattered wanted posters, one that featured a much younger version of Guntir, aka the Gazelle. Heinrich, you spent the night working slowly on developing the linguistics feat for free, but at one point did take a quick walk out into the immediate vicinity and noticed a sign to a place known as the Serentil Second Hand. Down a winding set of iron stairs, you found your way to the base of the drainage system, with water trickling by your feet, and met through a very narrow window a female half giant, Uga, as well as the somewhat flighty gentleman who seemed to be doing the lion's share of the intellectual labor within this place. But they were selling trinkets, statues, and even a bag full of bugs. Nothing that immediately caught your eye, at least not for the price. In the morning, Heinrich, you helped Morwen pen a letter after a great try from Morwen to Rhodesia and sent it by Red Shield escort service to Berglado's Outpost, the little outdoor dive bar with a surprisingly good and expensive menu, knowing that Rhodesia is a regular there. You then traveled to the Avenue of Everdusk and visited Morwen's Miscellaneous. Morwen, the proprietor of the shop that bore your name, had a tiefling, or is a tiefling that's working at the single table. He showed you items within your price range and told you that this shop had been here for some 30 years. It seemed that the name had only changed recently, but the shopkeeper stated that they had never heard of Ezra, the 14-year-old girl who, Morwen, you had left in charge of this shop. Then, after deciding to get down to business and after a brief tantrum from Morwen, who wanted to gamble prior to leaving, you make your way to the person known as Calico Amir, who runs a Taroka parlor in the Three-Tide Accord district. So, let me, all of you, the group of you led by Akka, with Morwen sulking in the rear, are now walking through the corridors that make up the thin territory between the Quarter of Law and the Three Tides Accords. As you're walking, there are people passing by. There are places where you can get almost 2 stories up, and you can see out of the windows and doors and on these small balconies. There are families and other people. This is a very, very lively place. You feel eyes on you, but not in the way that some of you are familiar with. This is a place where you fit in a lot better. Just casual glances. Before you make your way to the Three-Tide Accord and before you find this Calico Amir, is there anything that you're doing either before or on your way?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were just kind of heading straight there.
No problem. You guys take a little bit of time, close to 20 minutes, winding through. Aka, you relatively familiar with this place. I don't think you've ever actually met Calico Amir, but this Taroka parlor, much like any other real life tarot reader or kind of crystal ball sort of deal, it's one of those places that almost everybody kind of knows about. Um, Depending on your group of friends, you might admit to going there more or not, but it is a sort of there is like a sketchy medium kind of feel to it. But without too much trouble, you lead the group back to the docks. How are you going to find Calico Amir?
Looking at Akka for that one.
Oh, I think I'm actually, because we're going to the docks, right? I think I'm
Yep.
actually looking for the boat opposed to Calico.
Okay.
Isn't Calico a type of cat?
It is.
I recognize it.
I would probably.
It's a type of cat, but it's also a pattern, like a dappling of colors.
Would I know how to get in contact with someone who could get us to Calico Amir?
I mean, looking around, there are people passing you, bumping into you. Due to the very narrow nature of this place, there are people all around. But you could look for signs. There is signs. Heinrich has seen signs around here for various shops. There are any number of ways in which you could find it.
Do I notice any of them that are obvious?
Make a perception check.
They need to be obvious because I'm doing this. Go with 12.
Okay. Immediately, no. You walk, and as you get to the part that transitions into open air, where finally, instead of being enclosed by almost these fingers of metal that are the countless corridors and small apartments, you get to a point where you can start to see the faint bits of gray clouds in the sky. And suddenly you emerge onto this long, large, 40-foot wide dock, and you see all the shops and small carts. It is a fairly busy place. Let me just 1 second here. As you were doing this, Heinrich, you looking around, there's nothing immediately that comes to mind. You see signs. I mean, you can see signs for things like, just 1 second here. You see signs for things like, actually, you would see one for the Selle de Mer, and it's one of a number of them that are painted black with inset gold lettering, and they kind of lead the way from different parts of both the three-tided accord and the quarter of law. You see a banner that is cloth, kind of dyed gray, and then lettering in almost crimson that reads "The Dreamer's Den." So far, nothing that would point towards Calico Amir.
Well, wouldn't I know where his scrying shop is?
It is actually a ship that it is not necessarily always in the same place. But make a history check. It's been a while since you've been to Nocturne.
Yeah. Okay. History. Let's see. Can't use that die anymore.
It's banned.
You can match a little smile.
An 18.
18, okay. You think back, and you've never been to this place, but you think about the times that people have told you about this person, this figure that is wrapped in robes and has this kind of constant bit of smoke that hangs in a haze within this dark loft that they keep. It's in a very peculiar ship, and because of the size of it, there's only a real few places that it would fit in correctly. You also know that typically there's like a jagged walkway of a little like patchwork. And looking around, there's one broad dock that goes out with a few smaller ones off of it. Calico Amir is traditionally off of a ramshackle kind of rope wood bridge that he puts up to the dock, or they. To the dock, and then you can traverse that. So that's something you could look for, certainly.
Yeah, I think I would look along the docks for what would be undeniably his entryway.
Undeniably. Make a perception check. If you want it to be undeniable, make a really good perception check.
How's
Yes.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 is pretty good. You look at Heinrich and you can see the gold eye and the black eye underneath this kind of head of antlers looking around. Heinrich seems a little bit lost in this place, and you can't blame him. This is one of the busiest parts of the city of Nocturne, outside of the Modrock. But for you who grew up there, this is one of the, it's fairly easy to navigate. You hike yourself up to your full height and looking above a lot of the other individuals here, some of them being Anacrean dwarves, these kind of blonde-haired dwarves, a little different than the ones that you've met. Well, not you, but the rest of the finger gang. You can see down the dock, maybe like 80 feet or so, this peculiar little kobold smoking a pipe. And as you look, you get the faintest hint of the pipe leaf smell. But you see going down this little rope ladder, and it disappears out of sight behind another ship, but it certainly looks like it might be something of that nature.
I think I'd start heading towards there. Be like, I think it's this way.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything, or are you guys just following?
I'll follow.
Okay. All right. So,
Wait,
Aka. Oh,
So we also so there's a kobold. What is it?
yes. There's a couple around, but yeah, you can see one that's kind of smoking a pipe.
Are any of them Kobe?
Make an intelligence check.
Aw. 5. Ooh. 6.
They're all Kobe.
even Aka might be Kobe. No, it's probably not Kobe. Actually, interesting reference. So Kobe scales, you remember being a little bit like a dark brown red, and he had those kind of blackish tattoos. This kobold scales are a much more vibrant red, a little bit brighter than what you've seen previously. So certainly not Kobe. Not that that's his name. His name's Krajek, but neither here nor there. You guys make your way over to this ship, and as you approach, you can see, as you clear that kind of long ship that was masking the rest of this ladder, there is a ship. It's a tartan, about 38 feet long. Rests a little bit perpendicular to the main dock. You can see the small stall selling seafood, some kind of seafood and ice, like cuts of a fish. That is where the kobold is kind of propped up, and he looks at you as you walk by, kind of ready to try to like sell his wares. But as you continue, looks you up and down, seeing the way that you're dressed, kind of seems to think that that's not why you're here. You see about 20 feet long, a rope and plank bridge. It goes straight and then kind of hooks around a pier and then attaches to this very peculiar looking ship. It's odd because beyond just being, it looks almost like a floating log and as if part of it is submerged. But on the top, what would be a deck, there's this kind of ramshackle, hastily constructed wooden, almost looks like a shed. And that is connected to what Morwen would know is sort of where likely the descent into the lower decks of the ship would be. Ship besides probably one lower deck. You can see on the side of the ship, does anybody read Orcish? Or Orc?
I read everything.
That's fair. So, Heinrich, looking at this ship, you can see on the side of the boat in Orc, it reads Infar Og, which is Orc for fate on water. There's no sails on this ship, not currently mounted anyways. You see rigging, but no sails. And outside, there is a scratched wooden sign. Wood, but then it's been scratched fairly recently. You can still see the fresh kind of color underneath. And it reads, Calico Amir's Taroka Parlor. Fortunes read, found, and altered. Cash or trade accepted. You can see, after you finish reading this, and Aka, you're in front.
Mm-hmm.
The door in front of you quietly swings open. Mismatched boards, all kind of painted black, but it swings open. And from within, there's a very thin fog. And as it hits you, is most certainly pipe leaf. It wafts into the air. It's like a heavy incense, musky and rich. There's other smells down below. You can see these stairs leading down into a dimly lit space. Do you enter?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like turn to everyone else, be like, "This is the place."
Cool.
And I'm gonna get a big whiff of the pipe leaf and be like, "Oh yeah, this guy can bring him back."
If anybody can. So, do you descend the stairs?
Yeah, like onto the little dock and then down.
Okay.
And yeah.
I'm gonna do. I'm not. I'm gonna stay outside.
Okay. So, Aka,
I feel like I would walk in and turn to be like, "All right, I brought you here. Your turn," and you're like not there.
I'll be there.
Well, there's other people.
Okay. Yeah.
Turn, you
Yeah.
see
Following.
Morwen.
I don't know if
Shae,
you
what
want
do
me
you
to
do?
lead this, but
I'll go in.
Okay. So Heinrich, what are you doing while you wait? You can see first Akka descend the stairs, then Morwen, and then Shae.
I am pointedly not trying to get my ideas of what's going on muddied by someone else who can tell me what's going on, because I already have
Sure.
my book. And then
Okay.
I'll also go around and ask if anyone's heard of what's the name of your ship again?
The Black Claw?
The Cat's Paw?
The cat's claw.
The Cat's Claw. Yeah, I'll do the investigation on that part while we're here.
Kitty cat, meow.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of like a, I don't know, like a false prophets kind of thing, but it's
Sure.
not super religious in its way. I don't know if that makes sense.
So you're just gonna take
wanna
like
get
a.
distracted from
I gotcha, and I
asking them
love
and
it.
then asking
I'm
this
here
and being
for
like,
it.
I have two things to consider now. This is stupid.
I'm here
So,
for it.
yeah.
So, are you just kind of taking like a slow walk and looking for the ship?
Yeah, which
Okay,
you can
so
come back to because
we will get back to that. So, you all descend the stairs, which creak with each step. And as you enter, you find yourself in a hole that stretches about 20 feet back and runs about 6 feet wide at the back and then 10 feet wide at its widest points. As you go beneath, the sound of the seagulls fade, because it's also quite loud. The walls are lined with a dark gossamer fabric with thin, flaking metallic scenes that are painted across them. You can see at one point probably this beautiful scene of a busy town, a marketplace. It's large. This cloth travels almost one entire half of this wall space. They flutter faintly in the bits of breeze that follow you in. There are portholes, but you can see them currently blocked by wooden 4-panel screens with rice paper that have been painted black, and then had gold leaf skillfully laid in beautiful images of islands, drakes, ships, kraken, many other things. They cover the portholes and leave just a little bit of glow from the daylight around them. But aside from that, there is a single lantern that hangs from a hook in the back and lists side to side slightly with the sway of the ship. Beneath sits a single figure, dark robes covering his arms and face, the body clearly tall and lithe, though currently hunched over. He wears black satin gloves, one of which is draped over his leg. The leg drops down as the figure slowly turns into a sitting position, resting both hands on the table. On the figure's left, there is a small, round side table with a crystal ball set upon a stand of copper. You can see, as he looks up, kind of familiar, I would say, to Morwen. This cloak, this hood, it seems to cast shadows on this figure's face. You don't even see eyes. And you remember that figure that had killed Guntir. Very similar in that way. But looks up at you, and you can see little bits of smoke rising from a wooden pipe that is in the shape of what looks like maybe like a swan or some kind of bird. Little bits of blackened herb in there. But he looks up at all of you, and you can also see out in front of him there are these cards, black with various numbers and imagery on them. The figure looks up. Not that you can see the eyes. The Finger Gang. Calico Amir has been waiting for you. And you bring one unfamiliar to you as well as to me. And you see the hand go down to the deck of cards.
You guys are called the Finger Gang?
Flips one of the cards to add to the 3 already out on the table facing you. It reads, Cursed One, and depicts a masked and hooded man with 2 hands on the hilt of a great sword pointed down. Are you guys doing anything?
Wait, who's that to? It's to me?
That's to probably Akka.
I'm just gonna side eye, knock and be like, and step a little further away from him. Do a little.
I'm not called the Finger Gang.
You are the ones who fell the dragon in Kultaram, the citadel of dwarves to the north. I know you are seeking passage back in that direction. Tell me true, though. Amir senses you are all here for more than a ride. Tell Amir. And he shuffles the cards once, sets them down. takes the 4 cards that are out on the table, sweeps them back up, and adds them to the deck before shuffling it once more. These hands, for being in these gloves, incredibly dexterous, and they move surprisingly quickly. Morwen, for you, there are elements to his motions that remind you of some of the people that you've worked with. This is somebody who probably, in some way, shape, or form, a little bit of a thief. What are you guys doing?
Can you do that for me?
You want the reading?
Yeah. How much are they? Do you charge? Yeah, you
Of course.
to do.
How do
Well,
you
I don't
not
you
know
kinda
the
gave him a free
economy?
one.
Oh
But
my
for
gosh.
you,
That
5
was
gold pieces.
Oh yeah, gladly.
Okay. Take a
Finger
look at
gang
your
doesn't know how
inventory.
the economy works.
1 second here. I should have taken
Well,
these
you
out
get free
earlier.
readings, so
Who
cursed
gets
one.
Free readings.
free readings? You guys didn't look at the rest of the cards that were on the table. It wasn't really a free reading.
Yeah.
I've never done those before, so we'll see. No, that's probably not true, but
Taking the gold from you more when he shuffles the cards and puts them face down on the table. Put your hands on either side of the deck. You put them down. The table shakes a little bit. The crystal ball in the stand. You can see the head turn just for a second to check it. Think of your question. Think of what it is that you desire. I will flip the first card. Turning it over, you see upside down from you this face of a woman. The hands looking up, and from each fingertip, lightning bolts seem to erupt. The lightning bolts seeming to go from the top to the bottom because the card is inverted. On it, you see the word elementalist. This is your past. You come from a place of great power, far from Alberon, do you not?
yeah, that's me. You hear that, guys? I'm powerful. Keep going.
He flips the second card. You see a hooded face, but again inverted. Shadows are cast across a sinister sneer, and the words above read executioner. You can see a noose from the floor drifting up, as it is too inverted. This is the executioner. A word that is hard to say, but also inverted in this way means you are to kill. This is your present.
Better
Now
luck, guys.
I back away from more
The
when
final card flips
So now
over.
we're just opposite sides of the room.
The third card is also inverted, and you see a portly man, kind of slick-backed hair that comes up into like almost like a ponytail, very greasy looking. You can see a fine doublet across some kind of a white shirt, and above it reads the guild member. Whatever it is that you are here for, you will need help. Maybe Amir is that help. And the cards disappear into one hand and rejoin the deck.
Well, that was fun. Okay. Your turn, Shae.
My turn?
well, I'm not
While
the
I'm
one-
happy to
I
tell
thought-
your fortunes, I see in the cards that there is more that you need. What is it?
Yeah, can you get us somewhere quick?
That I can.
How?
By magical means. Teleportation. A circle.
How much?
Straight to business.
There are 2 things.
He knows a lot
Normally.
about me now, so we're not strangers. It's
There you
okay.
go, look at that.
Just got to know each other real quick.
That's the great thing about
He
Terraria.
knows me by history better than any of you guys. So
What you want, Amir can do. For a price. I will send you where you need to go, depending on where it is. But I need you to get me some rare chalk, imbued with the types of properties needed to draw the sigils that you will provide. It is highly illegal in this kingdom, but, of course, easy enough to find in the Jade Exchange. I know where to procure such a thing. If you pay me 500 gold and buy the chalk, call it a deal.
Okay, where can I get this chalk?
The Jade. He just said
Oh,
that.
yeah. Sorry. I was taking
Steal
notes. I was taking
the Jade
notes.
Exchange. You are welcome to look elsewhere. Maybe there are other
Morwen's just scribbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just no words.
I'm taking notes.
You're drawing on the walls. But the Jade Exchange is where you will find such a thing. But word of warning to you: have your wits about you, and be ready for a fight.
Yep, that sounds about right. Don't need to be a
Oh,
fortune
is that
teller.
where I'm going to be
know
the
that.
executioner?
Who knows?
This guy knows the thing. Oh, you're not even there. You're
I'm not.
boring.
But
I bring out Frank and I tell him.
the head recoils a little bit as you bring a skull, elements of the beholder's eye that had once been in
Oh,
the eye socket.
Beholder's eye.
Yeah, but it's stained from that. That was pretty gross stuff. You could see Frank, the skull that you've lugged around for the entire campaign, and you tell him. He kind of shrugs that off. Turns. You can see the whole body kind of just shift over to you, Akka. The man you want is named Thulian Oscar. He has a forehead that might as well be 5, a black coat. He has a thing for belts, never wears fewer than 3. Tell the man Amir sent you and he won't rip you off so bad.
Okay.
Has he ever thought about just like tighter pants?
Does this
He
sound
does not
like anyone
always wear
I've
them
seen
on
before?
his waist. They are everywhere. You will see. Does it sound like a person that you've seen before?
Or a creature, given that he's got, like, wacky fashion sense, for lack of a better term.
Roll a d20 for me, Matt.
That one. I gotta get rid of this one. Too many memories.
You're not Guntir anymore, so your memory isn't like, generational, but
I know. That's a 17.
okay. You don't know this person, but you've heard of them. Especially being an artificer, their reputation would come. Well, you weren't an artificer when you were mostly in Nocturne, but being somebody interested in acquiring things for people who not always on the up and up, you do know that there are a number of people within Nocturne, especially on the Avenue of Everdusk, that deal in magical reagents needed for various rituals and spells. Thulian Oscar is a human who deals in a lot of things of that nature. The occasional magical item, but really utilizes his innate, you would know that he is a sorcerer, and uses his innate magical ability to help those who need more components for theirs. He's rumored to be fairly aggressive, negotiating not always a great tactic. He doesn't do super well. He doesn't really do loans. That's not like a thing. You got to pay up front. That's what you would know.
Okay. I don't say anything in this present moment. I'm just kind of like, this is, I figured that one of you would be taking the lead here since, I'm the hired help, but, your other friend didn't even, again, bring you all the way here and just
I know.
chooses
Heinrich's
something
really,
else.
He's really complicated.
What is his deal?
No idea.
Ah,
Can't
okay.
keep track of him.
Are also the one who knows the city the best, so...
He must be the pinky.
Sorry?
You're the finger gang. Are you all like, which one's which?
I've never thought about it.
So this chalk,
Yes.
anything specific to ask for, or is it just chalk?
It is arcane chalk, and ideally, for this spell, it would be green, blue, or white, but be warned, the white is expensive.
Most good things are.
And is this 500 per person or total?
You're doing me a favor.
We're kind of shopping around. They don't
You're
know the
doing me a
economy.
favor per person. No, just kidding.
Total. 500 gold will get you all to where you need to go. Which is where?
What's the name of the library? It's a library.
The Lorebinders Academy.
Yep, books.
If you have the sigil for a circle somewhere nearby, I can do that.
I do have a sigil for a circle nearby, don't I?
Yeah, you do. You have the Lorebinder Academy sigil. You can go straight there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, oh, I have that.
Well, all that stands between you is 500 gold and some chalk.
Great. So
Let's
off we go
add
then, finger
some
gang.
Chalk.
Very well. We'll be back.
Are we gonna go look for Heinrich, or
Yeah, he'll find us.
are you sure?
No.
He doesn't seem very good
I'm
with
walking out.
directions.
Thank you, Calico. Mr. Ramir.
Tabaxi,
Yes.
as you go, as you think about your present, remember that pasts catch up.
Okay.
That's pretty ominous.
And as you guys make your way up, with no assistance from Amir himself, as you step onto the deck, the door shuts. But Heinrich, as you walk across the docks here in this place, what is it that you are looking for? Or make a perception check, because you're really looking for this ship.
Well, okay. I was gonna look for like a harbor master or something like that.
Sure,
People
yeah,
who would,
go for
like,
that.
Know who's gone, who's arrived and left, basically.
Yep. Makes sense. I would say, without even rolling, honestly, you're from a port town.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Just like walk around long enough to find something.
Yeah, and I mean, you've actually, even in your travels throughout this campaign, you've pulled into enough ports and talked to enough wharf masters that you can see often kind of in the direction of what looks like some kind of like it's an empty-ish tent, and it looks like it's probably used, or like people bring things in and set up for the day, but currently empty. But kind of in that area, seeming to try to stay out of the little bits of cold rain that are beginning to fall. You can see a human who's wearing fairly dingy-looking leather, but the smock that has a number of different like little pads and bits of parchment. You can see like a quill behind the ear. Looks fairly harried at the moment and is kind of scribbling something down, but looks to be probably the wharf master.
Okay. I will approach them.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Kind of looks around behind him. Who, me?
Yeah. You one of the people who keeps track of who comes in and out of this dock?
Yeah, it seems like I'm the only one who does that, but is there something that I can do for you? My time's a little bit pressed at the moment.
Sure, real quick. Does the boat name of the Cat's Claw ring any bells? Been by recently? And then
Are
I
you here
described
with,
the boat last time I remember what it looked like, which I think we had it. It was like
Okay, he
how we
listens.
got it.
He listens and kind of looks at you, looks at your chest. Are you with anybody, or?
My eyes are up here, sir.
At the moment, no. By myself, just wondering.
I'm sorry if you're not with some kind of like authority figure. I can't really just give out the
Look, it's kind of important. I'm just checking in on the ship that I am still technically a part of a crew with. Was hoping to meet up with them.
There's this echo effect. Are you just making it real focused here?
No?
Oh,
Who's
there was
echoing?
you were for a second. I wasn't sure why.
Weird.
Though. I thought it sounded like, remember when we played in person like a long time ago, and you could make it like really echoey. That's exactly what it sounded like.
Hey.
Oh
Nope.
wow. Much more fun. So, remind me of your question. I lost.
Sure. I was just saying, I had been part of the crew and was hoping to return to the ship since I haven't seen them in a long time. Heard they may have been by here, basically.
Make a persuasion check. You were part of the group.
Exactly. That is 23.
Ah, a member of the crew. Well, a number of them did disembark here, so you missed your ship out by about 2 days. But I think they're coming back in about a week.
Damn. You said people disembarked. Who is it? Are they still here?
There was passengers that were taking... He takes the pad and goes through 22 passengers from Gulver's Bay.
Oh. Wow. What kind of passengers, if you don't mind me asking? All humans, or just a mix, or what?
I honestly don't remember. I don't mark down each one individually, but
That's fine,
there were
but
humans, and I see a lot of people. I'm sorry.
fine, and I'm sure that I'm not one of the ones that blend in, so I get it if they didn't look like me, which is fine. Okay.
Honestly, we
That's
get tieflings here a pretty good amount, so...
cool. Sorry, right. Not used to it. From up north. My bad. Okay. That's kind of all I guess I needed to know. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. And he
And I'm
gets
gonna turn
back to
around and-
speaking some stuff.
As a note to you, from here on out, if I see anyone or overhear anyone talking somehow about either coming from Gulliver's Bay, having been on that boat, or
Okay.
describing any of one of the crew members in a way of like, wow, that
That you would
captain, she
recognize.
was so awful and rude, but at
Man,
least she
that-
was hardworking or something.
That guy has such a handsome voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Well, your passive perception is 12, right?
Well, yeah, and I'm sure I'll probably mention to Morwen and
Sure.
key everyone in on that.
So you begin to head back. You get back before the three of them exit, so you just kind of waiting
Tried
for a
to
little
make it
bit.
quick.
Yeah, you would see Akka, a little bit of a slightly more disturbed group actually would come out, but Akka, Morwen, and Shae emerge in this kind of light mist of pipe leaf smoke and then emerge into the docks.
Morwen, we missed them by 2 days.
Who?
Your ship.
Aw.
But they dropped off 22 passengers? I don't know.
Oh, they made friends.
I don't know, or they got rid of all the crew,
Oh.
kicked everyone off, or made money bringing people here. I don't know, but keep an ear out for...
And Heinrich, seeing as how the wharf master had it logged, you would imagine that that was probably their shipment. That was what they were coming in with.
Yeah.
So likely they were paying passengers.
Okay, perfect. Well, that being said, if anyone overhears anything and you're curious, then there you go.
You know, you could probably ask the guy that we just went and talked to,
No,
because
it's-
you asked
I
me
don't-
to
I
bring
don't-
you to him,
No,
That's a
she
good
did.
idea.
and then
Good.
you,
We need the teleportation circle, and that's pretty much
Yeah,
all we
we
need
found
from
the
this person. Yeah, so we're good. So
We
what do
have
need
our
to do now?
information. That's all that matters. We need to
We
go
need to
purchase
go-
some chalk.
Okay. Any chalk at all.
We need green, blue,
No,
or
we
white.
need-
Okay.
we need arcane chalk,
Thank you.
specifically
Yes.
from a man named Thulian. Hold on, how do I?
Uh,
Thulian Oscar.
And
Oh, Oscar?
Oscar, but with the accent Oscar.
Oscar.
But you,
Oscar.
Mormon, you did ask right over top the question where you could buy it. And you would remember that he did say that you could look elsewhere. It probably is for sale elsewhere, but that is the place that he knows. And that's where you can get a discount.
So,
All right.
next stop, Everdusk
Well-
Ave.
Wait, I think we need to think this through a little bit because it's probably going to be pretty expensive, right?
Sure.
This is the thing
So-
that you need to think through.
Yeah, so I want
Of
to
all
find
the
regular
things
talk
that-
so I can do a little switcheroo.
I don't understand. And use a regular
That's-
chalk
that
for a
tracks.
magical spell?
Nah, you go into the store and grab the good stuff and leave the bad stuff. And you scoot. It's a little it's a trade. It's not even, but it's a trade. You know?
Oh, I see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me, but I don't necessarily think that that's a good idea here.
Yeah, I mean, the vibes I got
Okay.
from there and your appreciation altogether about that area,
I mean,
would
just
agree
like-
that doesn't sound like a good idea.
Well, we're leaving quickly.
So as a reminder, Akka, the Jade Exchange is controlled, but it's very outwardly controlled. The
Get-
only place outwardly
Yeah.
controlled by the Circle of Silence.
Yeah, you'd get fucked.
So yeah, we're not going to do that, especially after that sentence. which seemed to come after some inward thought.
Right.
You
Yeah,
get
because
caught.
this is the only place that is outwardly controlled by the Circle of Silence.
Okay, well listen, Akka, as someone who also uses magic, do you know of any other place just to add it to a list of possibilities to get magical chalk?
Do I know of any other place as a list of possibilities to get magical chalk?
I mean, I did write like I don't know a 26-page guide to Nocturne, but it's fine.
Oh, do you want me to
for you.
look at that? Because I guess that makes sense.
I got it. I got it for you. It's okay. So you would know from your experiences the places that are most likely. I mean, you just left Calico and he doesn't have any. That's like one of the
Right,
primary
that's
kind
right.
of weird places that you know about. You would know that.
Probably not
in
Aga's.
No, probably not. You would know maybe Eric's Black Market, or no longer called Eric's Black Market, now Morwen's
Right.
Miscellaneous.
It
Perhaps
already.
maybe Willowmere would have it. Potentially the Jade Tea Shop because, or the Jade Tea Room because
They're like
there is
back
magic
alley
that's used.
viewings.
Yeah, but aside from that, those are probably the primary places.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it's like most of the places are going to be on the Avenue of Everdusk, regardless.
All right, well then, kind of seems like the decision's made up. Maybe we should just go with this one that apparently gets us a discount. Because that's
I
what,
mean-
500 gold plus whatever this is going to cost, and I don't think any of us, maybe, do you actually have any idea of how much this will cost, Akka?
I mean, my
Um,
way could cost for free. Just
yeah, but-
saying.
knowing like how much generally magical components would cost, would I know the rough estimated cost of arcane chalk?
Yeah, given your background, no problem. You'd imagine at normal prices, if you were to look at the teleportation circle spell, it's the same amount. Let me look it up real quick.
The same amount as the cost of the components that are used in that.
That would be what you would expect, seeing as how you've heard a little bit about it. It'd be about 50 gold pieces worth. It will probably be more to get that amount because you don't pay what it's worth, but especially not for something that's arcane
Right,
within the
because
Kingdom of Saren.
it's at a premium. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I don't know, like 100 gold.
Oh, that's it.
So
I think we can cover that.
100 gold. That's it. Oh my gosh.
I mean, if you're comparing it to 1,000 per person for this other super secured way you were talking about, I think that's a pretty tremendous discount, or difference at least. So.
Well, yeah, but it's still not cheap.
no,
It's
it's
not for normal people.
No,
Finger
but
gang.
how'd you know that?
Calico
The-
knew it.
The guy who knows everything that we just met, that you chose not to.
It's alright, I got a guy.
He said I have a powerful past.
I got my own guy, we're good. Yeah, I believe it.
It's true.
I believe it.
If you have your own guy, why did you send us here?
Because he's the one who can do this. But never mind. You'll
He
never
talks-
meet
he
my
talks
guy.
to a book. Loser.
Alright, on we
Talks to
go.
a book. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
isn't that freaky? Fred
It's
and
pretty weird.
Frank
Frank.
and I make fun of him all the time. All right, so
Is Frank the skull that you...
yeah, my best friend.
On we go.
So yeah, from your outlook, Akka, the Finger Gang is a group of weird dudes and dudettes who are just talking to inanimate objects. Almost everybody. So far,
Everyone.
Shae is the only one.
We're
that
not talking.
We're just not talking.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy all in their own way.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm getting
Alright.
more and more unsettled, but I'm like, do it for the job. Do it for the job.
Shall we?
Yep.
Back
I've
and
had
then back
worse
again.
clients than this.
Akka, are you going to lead them to the Jade Exchange?
I guess I would bring them to the Jade Exchange, yeah. And I guess generally just towards the avenue.
Okay. So you guys turn right around and begin to head back to the sort of southwestern area of which the Jade or the Avenue of Everdusk is composed, or kind of makes up some of that spot. Without any trouble, you guys make your way there. Is anybody doing anything on the way?
negotiating price between the three of us with money.
Okay.
I'm also looking for any.
Regular chalk.
I'm not, but I just take it from the kids. It's mine. No, I mean, he said that we were going to fight, so I'm just like looking for other people trying to fight me.
So you're looking for a fight?
You're looking for a fight. Make a
Literally
perception check.
looking for a
I'm not trying to like mean mug him, but I'm just like,
Sure.
You're sus now?
Okay.
Hand on the hilt.
Like, who's it gonna be?
Sure. So you walk, and as you do, make a perception check. Why not?
Okay.
You realize that he meant when we get. Never mind.
No, you don't know.
It's true.
17.
17. You watch as you guys make your way through the quarter of law families. There's a lot of kind of middle-aged people, a few older people. You're walking, you can see there are a lot of soldiers here from Nocturne's first banner. As you walk by, you see one with kind of longer blonde hair. Just kind of look at you as you go by, squinting more just because you look like you're looking for a fight. You see there's a child that gives you a mean look as you walk and scampers into an alley.
Did he have chalk though?
Make a perception check. No, I'm kidding. No, he didn't have chalk. Chalk is actually not super easy to get. And when you look down at the floor here, which is mostly like corrugated iron and bits of stone, wouldn't hold chalk that well, for what it's worth. But nobody really. Other than that, there isn't too much that really kind of stands between you and Aka. You take the time to travel through the stairs, the hallways, up and down the various levels of this network of tunnels and halls. And you reach the Avenue of Everdusk.
I want to have negotiated the price between
Yeah, sure.
us before we get there so we don't do it in front of people.
It's probably a good idea.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So 200 each, split it 3 ways. We're good? I'll cover the chalk and then 100 for the spell and then 200 from each of you
Well,
guys.
it might
the
be
rest of it
more.
done.
I mean, it
If
depends
that's
on the
what it
price.
is, sure.
Yeah, well, we'll split it. You put the down payment on, and we'll split it after.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
Oh, poor Heinrich.
Yeah, I feel like this money wouldn't matter for such rich blood as yourselves.
Thanks for noticing.
There's an allegory
Hard
about
not to
the
when you flaunt it.
So you guys reach the Avenue of Everdusk, a place that to you is a little bit more familiar, Aka. You can see. Let's see, let me switch over the music here for you. So it's a little quieter.
Hey, Shady Kyle.
You see this human just kind of walk by, a little older in his 60s, paunch belly sticking out a little bit from his shirt. Hey, you're the taco kid. He just keeps going.
They call him Shady because his gut casts a shadow wherever he walks.
That's actually true.
I'm just big bones. You hear from walking around.
He's sensitive about his weight.
You progress through. You don't see as many eyes following you here. Here, it's a little bit more hushed. People who move on the street here a little bit faster. There's purpose to everybody's business. Nobody's just wandering. But eventually you come to a place still cast within these red and pink and light yellow dappled sort of paper globes atop some kind of a light source that create this very beautiful kind of dappled red lighting. But there's a portion that rises up high, higher than the rest of an already fairly vertical place for Nocturne. 50 feet high, perhaps, so one of the larger spaces here, even larger than parts of the Madrak. There is a 40-foot tall standing pagoda with an exterior 10-foot high wall with barbed iron pikes surround it. The interior of this courtyard has 2 gargoyles that seem to overlook within. There is the courtyard itself is about 10 by 10, so it's fairly small, and it stands in front, almost like a yard to the exchange itself. As you near the entrance, you do have the weird feeling of eyes on you. Although looking around, nobody's obviously staring. But ahead, you see that there are 2 guards, each wearing dark gunmetal gray scale mail armor. You see torsos that look almost like they're clad in massive fish scales for these scales. They wear this wicked black full helm with embellishments that rise up into like a black feathers down the back. You know, one of those like mohawk feather things. I'm sure there's a name for it, but I work in mental health.
Crest.
I thought you said the crust. Yeah, the crest. Thank you. The crust of the helmet.
Yeah, the helmet crust.
They wear black leather gauntlets with metal fingertips that end in sharpened points. You can see dark leather belts with metal rings that hold these rectangle strips of black fabric that form almost like a skirt that leads down to the gunmetal boots with these sharp, pointed toes. And you can see across their back, they have black iron claymores, long swords. These metal blades, twisted, dark iron metal that turns in the blade, so it makes almost like a wrought iron furniture. You know how it twists around itself? The blade also twists and forms almost in the middle like a corkscrew, but flat blade on one side, flat blade on the other. They look at you as you approach, and you can see both of these individuals through the areas of the Great Helm that are open. Elves, kind of longer ears. Up the steps past them, you can see that there is this courtyard. And then another little set of stairs that go up, and they seem to drop immediately down. You can see the tops of a maze of walls. For those of you who've been to PAX, it's almost like a convention center. Just dozens and dozens of these black metal walls that have had cloth draped over them to deaden the sound a little bit. The interior of this pagoda, it goes all the way up, so it's a massive kind of space, although only 40 foot deep, so like fairly condensed, but vertically.
So we made it to MagicCon 2021.
But as you approach, you can see the guards move and shift slightly, and their eyes go to you, Aka, since you are leading. Are you saying anything as you approach?
So are we entering like the avenue now, or are we already on the avenue?
You're on the
avenue.
To enter.
Yeah,
you're on the avenue.
Trying to enter the Jade Exchange?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I knew there's like a way to enter, right?
Maybe.
I'm gonna know. Isn't
So
there
right
like
now you're on the Avenue of Everdusk, and in front of you, you can see the Jade Exchange, the courtyard, the huge pagoda, the hollowed out space where all around it you can see windows and doors going all 40 feet up before it hits the ceiling. And you can actually hear above you like footsteps up there. This is still within this huge walled city. You can see to the right side of it another kobold with a little spear slung across his waist. This kobold also, you can see little pipe and pipe leaf just puffing out of it. You can smell the kind of fragrant scent. Oh, excuse me.
It's not Kobe. Kobe doesn't do that.
It is not Kobe. Although the color is a little bit more similar, but more of a modeling of orange than red. And actually, you can see kind of this like a little wooden cart, and it seems like he's probably selling it. And then across the street on the other side, there look like these tall, almost like townhouses of metal that are stacked and pressed right into each other. And you can see through the windows, there is like a snaking hallway that goes down to connect all of them. But that's mostly what's around you.
And Calico said that it was at the Jade Exchange, not the Soul Exchange?
Correct. The Jade Exchange. The Soul Exchange
is the other one, the bad one. Well, the worst.
The worst one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna head towards the entrance of the Jade Exchange.
Okay.
As casually as possible.
As casually.
Do I like? Am I remembering incorrectly, or does this place have like a method of entrance that isn't just like walking in?
You've never been, so you don't really know.
Okay. I guess I'll start walking towards it. Again, taking the lead, even though I'm like, this is your guys' job. I don't know why I'm the one who's... Okay. You're paying.
You take the lead. You go up to these guards who move just enough to kind of... They don't like outwardly move to block you, it doesn't look like, but just enough to kind of give you the indication that you're not going to be allowed past.
Right.
One of them is going to just kind of hold up a hand. You can hear the metal creak as it holds up, and these long hooked spikes of the gauntlet look like razor sharp. They're designed to do damage. Looks you up and down. You can see, examines your armor with his eyes, these almost pale blue, similar to Gunter's eyes, except for the fact that they're both focused on you. You can see through this part the visor that's shifted up, bushy blonde eyebrows, but looks at all of you. This is your first time.
Yeah.
Are you asking? Yes.
Sure, yeah.
We're looking for Thule and Usker.
You can see just a brief nod. The eyes go behind you, Akka, kind of go over Morwen, go over Heinrich and Shae. Seem to almost weigh what they're seeing. And then you can see he turns back to you and nods. Within these walls, fighting is not forbidden. Protect what is yours, or it won't be any longer. We are only here to protect those who should be protected. None of you are amongst those. You can see steps to the side.
Double
All
check
right.
stuff and like
Yeah, I'm gonna.
double wrap the make sure all the valuables are in place, including the finger.
Okay.
Yeah, having grown up in this area, I would know like pickpocketers, probably.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
being
I'm
on the.
gonna do the stupid
on
thing and wear
alert
my
for
backpack
that.
on the front.
Oh, also, I can't be
And it's
surprised.
just around
so-
this garish bag,
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
not wearing it in the front.
Actually, you got room for more?
Not much.
Not like I have much anyway that's not physically on my person.
Right.
I mean,
I don't think I will be a help to you in here, so I will remain outside.
What is with you and
oh, can you hold my stuff?
Yes.
every
Yay! Do not let Frank know that I'm gone. He's asleep right now. You know, he doesn't like to be separated.
Sure.
So you actively encourage this behavior?
Do I?
Oh yeah, she stays outside all
Yeah,
the time.
I'm questioning why Shae is encouraging Morwen to have a relationship with a skull.
I think everybody does.
Just kind of like offhandedly to myself as I walk in, I'm like, what? You're all so weird.
You're not wrong. So, you get to the courtyard beyond, which has this very sweet smelling grass. And as you get to the top of the steps, there's like 3 steps that go up and then three steps that go down. The Jade Exchange kind of reveals itself. It's set into a 15-foot deep pit, so a whole level below. And it is, to your point, Allie, an expo-like marketplace that is alive with a quiet excitement. There's about 2 dozen.
Dear.
Huh?
I said the only con I'll go to this year.
Oh. This is a fantasy game. Up the steps. Sorry. You can see about 2 dozen figures inhabiting the space. You hear more. You can see above some of these partitions. There are a few. There's a Goliath that you can see way off in the back. You can see here and there money exchanging hands, and the variety is staggering. You can see goblins, orcs, Goliaths, humans, elves. There's a pair of kobolds actually just to the left. You can see dwarves, tieflings. Many are dressed not just as merchants, but as ones that might be able to take care of themselves should the need arise. This crowded space is just above a murmur, and you can see many eyes scan across you as you descend the stairs, but turn back to their business. Immediately to your left is this pair of kobolds. One has just brought food over for the other. You can see directly ahead of you. Just 1 second here. Directly ahead, there's like a corridor that between these kind of partitions that goes straight about 30 feet. It branches off to the left and the right, just 5 feet in front of you. Again, another 10 feet down, and then again at the end, 30 feet away, like a T intersection. You can see a little bit into one of the little stalls almost to the left. You can see what looks like an orc maybe selling some things, but immediately to your right, you can see this figure Huge forehead, just absolutely. You could broadcast
This is our
a movie on
guy.
it. He's wearing a black top hat with this little band around it that you actually could imagine could be described as a belt. It has a little pilgrim buckle. Across his shoulders, there is another belt, and then there are two around his waist. He wears a black jacket, black pants, black gloves, although you see a thin line that indicates a white tunic or shirt underneath. He's standing in front of a table, and there's a number of things that are kind of scattered throughout, although currently obscured by him. I would say with your passive perception, Shae's not there.
I have a decent passive perception.
Is it 20?
It is not 20 anymore.
Unfortunate. That is what you see.
My passive int is 20.
Great.
When do you ever use passive investigation?
Not often, but this is what you see. You don't see much else. There are tons of people here, but with these partitions, really difficult to see more than like 10 or 20 feet in any given direction.
Okay, well, this is Thulian right here, correct?
I mean, you've never met him, but it certainly seems like it. He's about 10 feet away from you and to the right. Between you guys, there is one of these metal walls about 12 feet up. It has this black cloth that's been attached somehow. And you can kind of see him around the corner of that and like a little bit of the table behind him.
I'm gonna like turn to Heinrich and Morwen and be like, so should I do the talking or do you have...
I mean, we're just here to get chalk and leave. I'm sure any of us could. Well, I can talk for if you're.
I'll go.
I'm also
just give me the
very
money.
Charming, as you've seen before.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you just approach someone and ask for chalk. I can't tell between
Just
chalk and normal.
Give me the money. I'll do it.
Not
like everyone.
I'll go.
Oh, so now you're gonna go. Okay.
That's what I just said.
I
said
will,
any of us are
come in and
at this point, just so you know, this guy is now kind of looking at all of you because he's only 10 feet away.
I'm gonna walk over to him and be like, okay. Thulian Oscar.
His eyes narrow at you. You can see, whereas before it kind of had this like relaxed stance. He looks at you, kind of looks behind him for a second.
Calico sent us.
You can see now. Before he was kind of like just kind of questioning, but now all of a sudden, the eyebrows already kind of heavy on his forehead. They darken. Did you just say Calico and Mia right to my fucking face?
I did.
That flea-ridden, snake oil-selling piece of trash owes me 30,000 gold pieces. So he sent you, did he? Where's my fucking money?
Well, he sent me for something entirely different, which
Morwen,
is still give you money.
With your passive perception of 17, I want to say. Heinrich, what's yours?
12.
Oh my god, do I have the highest right now?
You do.
Mine's also 17.
I see. Oh.
You hear on either side of the wall, you hear as if two blades kind of being pulled out of the scabbards. You do not see these individuals yet.
Do I hear that as well?
You do not. Oh yeah, you would, because 17.
Yeah, I'm gonna start backing up.
I'm gonna be like, look, I don't know what's going on between you and him. He just sent me to you, didn't tell me anything. I've got money. I just need some arcane chalk.
You're going to need to settle Calico's debt. So 30,000 gold pieces or you're not walking out of here.
1,000 gold pieces. Do I look like I have 30,000 gold pieces?
Kind of looks you up and down. You've got some nice armor. Maybe we could work out a deal.
The armor doesn't come off.
Oh, I'm sure it comes off. Seneca. And from around the side of this stall, you can see this individual emerge. Tall, probably about 6 feet tall, very tan skin, black hair, unusual looking in her garb. This gold looking breastplate, probably bronze. You can see almost like a gladiator style skirt and sandals. The sword in her hand is a long sword, and she holds it with one hand quite easily. You see also from the other side, and I would say kind of closer to you, Heinrich, at the moment, another person come out, a little bit differently dressed, but similar in terms of maybe the region that they're from, both holding long swords. He kind of looks at each of them. Between the three of us, I'm pretty sure we could pry it right off. So I'm going to say again, this is a debt that needs to be settled.
Look, like I said before.
I'm gonna lean forward and tap Morwen and Akka on the shoulders. Just be like, I think we should be going, and cast invisibility on all three of us. I'm doing it.
Okay.
Casting invisibility on all three of us.
Okay.
We gotta get this up.
Yeah,
I love
Morwen's
it.
invisible. She can go steal the chalk now.
So hang on one sec, because I just got to look something up about this. Casting time invisibility, 1 action, no problem.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, Heinrich steps between you guys. You can see these 2 fairly tall women, well armored, well armed, kind of flanking him now. You can see he, in and of himself, at the corners of his eyes, these little bits of sparks, and almost you feel coming off of him a little bit of a wind. And as this happens, as he begins to kind of draw himself up and start to talk, Heinrich steps up, touches both of you on the shoulders, and to the surrounding area, just vanish. You were casting it at what level?
I have to cast it at level 5 so I can target everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
I can get
I feel like I would
everyone.
be still talking until I realized that I'm invisible. I'd be like, look, I don't know what the deal is between you and Calico.
And then I'm just gonna like.
I don't have
nudge
that kind of
Akka.
money.
I'm gonna nudge Akka, who
What?
can't see me at all.
Yeah, I was about to say we
Invisibility, like no one can
Sure.
see him.
Oh.
That's why I
As
was
you
like
were-
holding each other.
As
I
you
was
guys
like,
are
Morwen,
moving,
do it. Akka, let's go.
as you guys are doing this, I need everybody to roll initiative because this is
Of
about to get
course.
really interesting. All of a sudden, as all this is happening, you can see the kobolds next to you. They begin to scoop stuff into a bag, like in slow motion. You can see people begin
Oh, they're like
to realize
looting
what's happening.
time.
No, they're packing their shit and they're leaving. This is the place where, again, people can kind of enforce the law for themselves, and this is a violent place.
Oh my god. I love having advantage on initiative and actually having an initiative bonus.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's great.
Are we doing that? We
Yep.
must be.
We're doing it.
We're doing it now.
We doing it.
You wouldn't have been able to
All
talk
right.
your way out of it, so I just kind of pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah, 30,000 gold is pretty steep.
He owes them a lot of money. Anybody natural 20? All right, 25 to 20.
23.
23 and Morwen, 23 as well.
No,
I'm going to guess 20. Okay, look at that. 23 is going to be Akka. Morwen's 20. Morwen, what's your dexterity?
5.
Literally my first ever initiative over 20.
Let's go, 20. 20 to 15.
17.
19. Got 19.
Wow.
Oh, wow, look at that. Shake
Well, I'm right there though, so this makes
We
sense.
Yeah.
quick.
I'm also initiating it, so I
fast
think luck favors the bold in this one.
I'm going to roll for the crowd. Crowd's going last.
Crowd's going wild.
They are going wild. There's some stuff going on.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's one crowd.
The coffee really got into my lungs.
Cough.
All right, so the way that this is going to work, Heinrich, you're beginning this. So we're going to call it invisibility and surprise round, and then drop into initiative. So Akka, you are first, followed by Morwen, and then these 3 individuals are going to go. So Akka, you can see. Well, actually, here, let me send you a little bit of a. This is a little different, and I figured it might be kind of helpful for you. I'm going to send you guys a gallery because it has some close-ups. This is a larger map. The black kind of walls that you see, those are about 12 feet high, so they block line of sight.
Okay.
Everything that is on this map is there presently, although you would imagine many of the items on the tables being grabbed.
So are we on the bottom right corner?
You are right now in the very bottom on those stairs. The last picture in that gallery you'll see is kind of, although I arranged you guys wrong, I guessed the wrong way. But you guys are currently right at the south part of this map. You are on those set of stairs, or right at the bottom of them. And in front of you, that first stall, you can see a little dagger.
Yeah.
That is where he is standing, right there. The
Okay.
first person, the first gladiator-looking person, is the square to the north. The second one is the square to the south.
Okay.
And I actually have to leave Shae outside. Heinrich is talking. Akka is here. This is a much larger combat, so I had to put it right next to me so I can keep track of it because I've never run something this large. So, Akka, what would you like to do?
Oh geez. So I just got invisibled and can I would like to see if I can locate the chalk now that I am invisible.
Okay, so as an action, you're going to use a perception check?
I think I'm going to move towards like his wares,
Okay.
and since I'm invisible now, I'm going to try to like sneaky, like not make noise and bump into things, but I'm going to try to get basically like behind his stall so that I can look at his wares and
Okay.
make like I guess I would be more investigating than trying to perceive. If
So here's the
that's the
thing.
thinking.
With the way everybody's arranged, to pass him, you will have to push past Heinrich, who's also
Okay.
invisible. It is very narrow spaces here. I mean, you could do
Okay.
it, but you also can't see Heinrich, so you don't really know where anybody is.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like having been standing where we just were, and this is like immediately afterwards, we would have a general sense of where each
A
other
general
is.
sense,
Yeah.
yes, but you can't see each other, worth noting.
Yeah. So
Right, so after this first turn, we'll have no idea where each other are.
yeah. So like using my spatial knowledge of where Heinrich had been, I'm going to try to avoid bumping into him as I
Great.
go.
Make a
And-
stealth check at disadvantage. Well, no, it would be an advantage because invisible, so make it just a flat stealth check.
Okay. Nice. That's a. What is my stealth? 23.
So, as Heinrich reaches forwards, his hand still on your shoulder, you just duck underneath and dart through this 5-foot space. You could see this individual, the 5 head in front of you, just kind of pass. You were standing on the left side. To reach over into these ingredients, you are going to be reaching between the person he identified as Sargentia and he himself, Thule and Oscar. So you're reaching between two people to get there, or to investigate it. But what do you want to do?
So can I investigate without reaching? Because I don't want to try to bump into him if I don't
you can
see
investigate
him.
without reaching, no problem.
Yeah, so I think for this for this turn I'm just gonna see if I can locate the chalk that we need.
Okay, make an investigation check.
I'm not trying to fight these people. I just want to get this chalk and get out of here.
Sure.
Same.
Oh.
Poor Calico, causing more problems for him.
Oh, that's still okay. That's a 15.
You look. This is all happening in a blink of an instant. Heinrich touches you, you duck underneath, you look. This is as this woman is standing and coming towards you. You get a brief glimpse. You can see a dish that seems to have salt in it. You can see vials and test tubes. You can see a squiggly looking dagger, a number of different herbs, but you don't see any chalk right away. There's a lot happening.
Okay. And then do I have a bonus action?
You do.
I think I'll use my bonus action to telekinetically shove the one who, I guess it's what's his face, Thulian, who's
You can,
directly in front of the shelf.
You would shove him right back into all of his wares, yeah.
Well, I think I want to move him 5 feet toward me so that he gets shoved behind. Does that make sense?
5 feet towards you will shove him right into you. You are standing directly in front of him, and his stuff is right behind him.
Then I don't want to do that. I will shove him over the counter.
Sure. So is it a saving throw?
Yes, he must succeed on a strength save, DC 18, or be moved 5 feet.
But you said strength, right?
Yeah.
He's not real strong.
Nice.
Maybe he's tripping over all his belts.
Okay, that is a 6. So, what happens?
So he gets telekinetically shoved 5 feet away from me. So towards the
Yeah,
shelf.
I'm just seeing the phase of reaction. He does not. There is no space for him to technically move. He's within the square of his stuff. So he takes damage from that, right?
I guess he would take shove damage.
So he's going to take 1d6 of force damage. So go ahead or bludgeoning damage. So roll that.
Okay.
And then roll a d100 for me, please.
All right, that's 5 for the force damage and a d100. Let me see.
Yeah, roll a d100 for me.
Let me see how this is going to be interesting. That is a 24.
A 24. Okay. You shove him with your mind. Nobody can see the spell you're casting because you're invisible, but you do so. Worth noting, I believe that breaks invisibility.
Yep.
Because you're casting a spell.
It's not it's not casting a spell. It's part of my feat.
For a target that attacks or casts a spell. It is certainly an attack. So as this happens, you surge forwards with this telekinetic ability, and before you appear, these swirls of calligraphy and beautiful, almost like watercolor lines in the sky, they materialize before you come into being, and you cast telekinetic shove. It streaks towards, and as this individual fails, he's shoved backwards, smashing across. You hear glass break, wood crunch, the dagger into the wall. All of a sudden, you can see these shadows cast on his face, and you realize that a fire has sprung behind him from these ingredients that you have mashed together. He's going to take an additional 10 points of fire damage.
Whoops.
That's pretty good. You rolled max damage on that.
Oopsie.
This fire begins to engulfs this almost half black cape that he's wearing. We'll get back to that in a second because he's on fire. But anything else? You still have movement left, technically.
Yikes. I didn't realize I was going to become not invisible with this. So I'm like...
Does that break it just for you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's on the individual invisible person.
Roll smart.
Sorry?
You want to move?
I'm trying to figure out. So, can I move somewhere without provoking opportunity attacks from the 2 big swordy folks?
You're going to provoke at least an opportunity attack from one of the big swordy folk, and probably this individual that you just shoved.
Okay. I'm going to not move.
Okay, you remain where you are. That is going to bring us to Morwen. What would you like to do? You can see you all of a sudden see Akka reappear, and the figure right in front of him, despite the fact that Akka doesn't move, stagger backwards, collide with the stuff, and catch on fire.
I'm gonna do it in invisible. And now I'm looking for shock.
Okay, so you rush from where you are. You have to go kind of through Heinrich, but you can pass through. Because now Akka's moved, so you are directly behind Akka. Akka stands between you, who stands between the guy who stands between the chalk. So make an investigation check at disadvantage.
All right. It was 14.
Not bad. You get
Not bad.
down
My
almost
second
like
one was better, but not
Always.
bad.
tabaxi, like you drop down and kind of scamper. You try to get underneath people. You move around the motion of Akka, who begins to kind of back away, but then thinks better of it. It's hard to see. You can't really make out the chalk. You see a number of things on the table on fire now, and so if you're going to get it, you probably want to get it pretty quick.
Should I say something?
You can.
Okay. I'm just gonna, since I'm right behind Akka, I'm just gonna be like, run and distract, just to him, because I'm right behind him, right? So I can say that probably quietly enough.
You can certainly try.
That's the point.
Run and distract? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Run and distract. Okay.
Anything else?
Oh, from me? Nah.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, I'll sidestep like out of his way, like so I'm not like.
Okay. You can step to the left or down to the right. On the map, it's either you're stepping north or you're stepping west.
I guess just whatever will give me better line of sight on the wares as well.
Okay.
Is the side that
So
I'll step on.
you head north by 5 feet. That gives Akka a clear path to run backwards.
Okay.
It is now their turn. So starting with the individual directly in front of you, Akka, you can see the dark clothes begin to kind of ripple in the wind. He takes his movement, half of his movement to stand up. As an action,
like, hey, I'm not looking for trouble.
Yeah, why not?
Boom.
You can see
I'm
now
not for trouble.
the pale blue eyes glow
You
with
didn't know I
pure
had 'em.
electric energy and lightning. This kind of electrical stuff begins to crackle out. Not dissimilar to Guntir in certain spells. You can see he pulls from behind his back a wand, black wood, with a silver tip and like some kind of an inscription, although not painted or embossed. It's just dark in dark. But flicks it out, and with a motion, you watch the eyes expand and this electricity ripple down the entire body before collecting in a single point on the silver tip and streaking towards you, Akka. Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw for me, please.
Okay. Dex save.
Yeah.
I can do that. I can do that now. How's a 13? And I'm gonna use my reaction to add +5 with my flash of genius.
So what is that, 17?
18.
18 is exactly what you needed to succeed this. So you're only taking half damage. What does Flash of Genius look like for you, by the way? You haven't done it before.
Probably like the helm, the markings on it probably have like a quick glow.
Okay. Sorry.
A light
Cool.
bulb doesn't appear and go off.
Essentially. But it's more
So
like LED lights. LED
You are
strobes.
real lucky. You're going to take 61 points of damage, halved to 30, as this lightning bolt ripples through you. This is unlike any lightning you've seen before. The bolt itself is thick, and you can see the light almost blinds you as it hits you, and then erupts into 3 separate bolts. And I need Heinrich, Morwen, and another gentleman who is not any of you to all make dexterity saving throws.
Natural 20.
Fantastic. This random tiefling behind you also rolled a natural 20. So
Whoa.
something in the air for tieflings.
Yeah.
What was yours,
what's going
Morwen?
on?
The tiefling 20s. 23.
23. All of you succeed, so are taking 30 points of lightning damage.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's not
It
messing
hits
around.
you in the chest and just arcs out and hits these other people. You can see the tiefling that was located behind Heinrich just drops to the ground. You can see the smoke emanating out from charred flesh from outside this gray tunic. He is dead.
Damn.
That's a lot of damage for like a regular dude. So that is Thulian's action. And then as a bonus action, you watch the wind. The cloak kind of billows up. The fire itself just goes out. And he lifts 10 feet up from the ground. Does not provoke an attack of opportunity. That is his turn. The 2 ladies next to him, they're going to... The one that is not immediately in contact with you, Akka, is going to move around the partition and is now between you, Heinrich, and the stairs. Second here. So, first, the one that's near you, Akka, the one that was identified as Sargentia, is going to make 3 attacks.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. That is going to be a 20,
Meese.
a 13,
Meese.
and a 15.
Meese.
Look at that. So you can see, comes out with this long sword, hits into the armor twice. Ding, ding, just clangs right off. You can see elements of the actual cloth kind of scraping away. And the third one, you like back up away that it just misses you completely. But pretty well done. The one over by you, Heinrich, is going to run up and seeing your shield, takes the shield on her arm and is going to attempt to bash you with it. That is a 19 to hit. Or I'm sorry, that's a 17 to hit.
Oh, that does not.
Okay. It slams in. You take your shield and kind of collide back, and for a brief moment, they strike each other. Sparks emanate from them, but you are not pushed in any way, shape, or form.
Are you both
That
visible
is-
now?
Great point. That's a disadvantage. Not that it really matters. Even worse.
Missed and a miss,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Extra
Completely.
miss.
So as you bring the shield to bear, you can see the eyes slightly offset, and she shoves the air right next to you, almost losing balance, pulls back with the sword, ready to strike something else. That is their turns. Heinrich, what would you like to do? Shae, you're on deck.
Is there anywhere that I can move without bumping into someone towards the exit, basically?
The exit is so there's no path that you can access immediately towards the exit. You can step 5 feet back and provoke an attack of opportunity from maybe Thulian and the woman that just hit you, and then go
Without being
west,
able to
step
see
over
me,
the
though?
tiefling.
So they'd be.
That is a good
advantage,
point. You have
right?
not attacked yet.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not planning on doing anything.
they currently
Trying to
cannot see you.
My way out.
And I would argue the person that just missed you now has no idea where you are, because
Perfect.
she certainly thought that they did.
Just
So yeah,
swap
right now
through
you're
the
invisible.
area. Okay. Okay.
So what you can do is you can go north 5 feet, and you could either step over the dead tiefling and then circle back around, or you could go through Morwen space and try to like zigzag your way through some of the back ways and find a back alley. Or you could attempt to push underneath the legs or around the space of this gladiator, although risking
they
the
look too
failure.
stable.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do like the hook around north
Okay.
and then west. Was it that you said is open?
Yep. So it's 5, 10, 15 feet of your movement brings you to an intersection, allows you to go north, west, or south.
Anything quick to grab off a table?
As you're going by, I would say the table behind the tiefling that's dead, there's a key on it. And then that's kind of all you've seen so far. There's cups of ale in front of you as well, if you want to take one of those on the run.
As long as it doesn't make me not invisible. No.
It's just a
like,
floating
yoink!
mug.
No, I'm not going to take anything. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, I'll just, 5, 10, 15 to get to that intersection on the west side. Anything to the south?
To the south, you can see the kobolds who are like swiping this pipe leaf into a bag as they get ready to run.
Sure.
And then they kind of block the way, and then the gladiators on the other side of them. But you would imagine next turn when these kobolds certainly book it, it'll be clear for you to run that way.
Yeah,
That will
I'll
bring
just-
you behind.
So yeah, I'll basically get up really close to them and then take not defensive stance, but use dodge.
Sure.
So that if
Okay.
anyone attacks even near me, I have advantage on my advantage. Because
There
why
you
fucking
go.
not?
Yeah, sure. So, no problem. You stand there, you take the dodge action. That is your turn. Shae, you are up. Aka, you are on deck.
What can I hear or see from where
At this
I am?
moment,
Yep.
there is a loud commotion, and given your passive perception, you hear people yelling,
And history with our party.
Sure. Yeah. You hear people yelling about a commotion. You can hear something about ghosts. And then weirdly, you hear like a shriek, almost like somebody being murdered. It's quiet, but it just barely catches your ear. You hear the gargle of blood filling lungs and then quiet.
I think I'm going to hold for this turn, just
Okay.
apprehensive to see what comes out the door, if anything.
Okay, sure. So you hold, no problem. That is
It'll be
your
Heinrich,
turn.
but you won't see it.
Aka, what would you like to do? More when you're on deck.
So he's now 10 feet above the ground.
Yes, he is floating 10 feet above the ground.
Does that mean that if I go around one of these walls, he would still have line of sight on me?
Yes, you would imagine he has line of sight in the entire market. However, him being 10 feet up means that his table, still on fire, is directly in front of you.
Okay. I'm going to.
Yes.
I'm gonna cast on myself. Actually, I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna actually use my invisible mage hand
Okay.
to stay where his stuff is and begin just grabbing, hopefully, the chalk. And I am going to run in the other direction.
Okay. That is going to provoke attacks. Yeah, that's going to provoke attacks.
I believe. Hold on. Yeah, I guess because that's going to be my.
So what are you doing?
Actually, yeah. I'm trying to figure out if because it's as a cantrip. Okay, so never mind. Yeah, I'll take the opportunity attacks.
Okay.
Why not?
So you run 5 feet, and as you turn to run, the gladiator-looking woman is going to swing out and try to hit you. That's only going to be like a 15 to hit. So you duck underneath the blade, just scampering away. Thule is not going to take an attack of opportunity.
Angry vendors.
So you're now standing directly in front of Morwen.
Yeah, I'm going to just start running away out of the shop or out of the Jade Exchange.
Okay, so you're going to have to take a path similar to Heinrich. That's 10, 15, 20. You are now directly behind Heinrich. You have 10 feet of movement. You could either get to the other side of him where there is a table with some like carpentry supplies on it looks like. And then, or you could, that's pretty much all you can go. He's blocking the way and then there's kobolds on the other side of him.
So that would be like a dead end though, right?
Yeah, that would be, so currently you are facing the south part of the map. You're on the left side of the stairs, 2 rows up, 3 rows to the left.
Okay.
What are you doing, Matt?
I'm gonna run up the other 10 feet through like the one that has the little bow and arrow or the bow on the side there.
So that run, you're going to be
through that stall.
Okay, so you run right into the middle of 3 stalls. Directly in front of you, you can see what looks like a piece of paper. You can see there are weapons that are being slid into a long canvas sack by a dwarf. And there is that bow still, but you can see what looks like another tiefling going to grab it to stash it away. But you are about 10 feet away from that bow. That is your turn, correct?
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, and then whatever the hand ends up doing.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up because I don't know what you mean by I hope it takes gladiator. Or I hope it
I'm just having it grab something from the shelf.
Okay.
Like hoping that it's probably would have gone for the thing or close to the thing that had looked like salt that I saw. If that does anything, but I'm just
okay. You can't see through the hand, so you're just gonna reach and grab it. Roll a 20-sided dice for me.
Like, I'm trying to grab something so that if Morwen can't get it, then there's at least a chance.
You guys are attacking it from different angles. I get it.
That's an 11.
An 11? Okay. You feel through this arcane sense that the hand does grab something.
Is it
okay.
That is your turn.
My tail.
Nope. Morwen, what do you want to do? You can see in front of you this gladiator, maybe like 10 feet away, and then you can see to the left Thulian now drifting, crackling with electricity, floating 10 feet up in the air.
Well, that's like kind of terrifying, but
yeah.
I'm still. But I've like seen that before. So like, okay. So I'm still looking for the chalk.
Okay. So you at this point, because he's floating up, you can go 10 feet and get right up to the table. You see floating in midair what looks like a chain with teeth attached to it, just floating. But what do you want to do? This table is on fire in front of you.
Where's the chalk?
Yeah, I'm looking for the chalk.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Ooh.
18.
eyes scan the table. There is fire crackling away. A quill, you can see the elements of the feather curling into the fire. And then just beyond that, there is a rack of test tubes. And you can see in one of them, there seems to be a white powder that glows with a faint magical aura. Probably arcane chalk.
So is it in reach?
Yeah, you can grab it.
By grabbing it, am I putting my hand through like fire?
No.
Oh, yeah, I grab it and I'm running.
All right, you grab. That is 100 gold pieces worth of arcane chalk, so you can add that to your inventory. And then, if you want to book it, 5, 10.
Use your hand. Dive around people, snake through their legs.
So if you wanted more,
showboating this invisibly.
You could jump onto the table and then leap underneath him over the partition, and that would put you on the other side of the gladiator. You'd have a straight shot to the stairs.
Doing it.
It's an acrobatics check away. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check.
Oh yeah, gladly. All right, that's going to be a 25.
Morwen, there's a moment where you just feel cool as shit because you slide underneath where this guy is floating, storming. You see lightning crackling off of him. Lightning is still kind of like going through your fur, and you can see it like arcing around other people. The air that is emanating off of him swirls and moves your fur and coat, but it's invisible to everybody else. You look across, you leap, grabbing the chalk and turning, hook one hand onto the end of the partition and boost yourself over. Nobody sees this. You land on the other side softly, and if you want, that's only, technically you have a climb speed, that's only 10 feet of your movement. You are at the base of the stairs. The gladiator is right on your right.
Okay, before I do that.
Sure.
Because I'm me, and stuff's not being very looked at right now, and even if they are, they're not looking at me.
Sure.
So I might window shop on the stall next to the stairs, away from the gladiator.
So that is actually, you'd have to go through the gladiator, and then you would be right in the kobolds that you wouldn't really know, but Heinrich is on the other side of.
Oh, if it's not
that's
here,
it's a clusterfuck right there. Okay.
Yeah, no, if it's not going to be like convenient for me.
Fucking God.
I mean, it doesn't mean I'm not going back, but you know.
You make it into the courtyard, the grass all around you. Because I forgot to do it now, the people are going to move. The 2 kobolds. You know what? Interesting point. So they should have gone first. The kobolds would have moved. So the kobolds are out in the courtyard, which means, Heinrich, if you want, you can be 5 feet further closer to the stairs. You're only 5 feet away.
Sure.
And then that would mean that, Akka, you have a free range to go, instead of where you were, you could go stand right behind Heinrich and would be right in front of the carpentry supplies. Looking to the right, you can see like some spilled drinks. It's not a whole lot right there, but you could move a little closer to the stairs if you want instead.
Does it seem like everyone is moving in that direction now in this?
Yes, certainly. So that dwarf that I talked about before, there are no weapons left on that table.
I would basically be trying to like blend into the crowd at this point, I think, and like escape. So.
Okay, so I'm gonna move you
I would
5 feet
go in that
closer.
direction.
All right, cool. 1 second, I'm just moving. Morwen, you can see behind you now, following, there's a female dwarf. There is a human in white robes grabbing like a bag of books and running. Let's see here. This guy 5, 10, 15. This guy 5, 10, 15, 20. A Goliath kind of looms into view and is now just in the midst of all of this, running out, holding a massive warhammer, looking frightenedly about. There's a dwarf that steps into view behind him, a gnome way behind that. 5, 10. Yeah, they're all going to group up right here. Shae, you hear another shriek, and this time you know that you heard a goblin. That is their turn, so that brings us back to where we were, which is Akka. Which is Morwen. So Morwen, you are now in the courtyard, and you have these, like, there are people around you. You're part of the crowd running out. So that's where your turn ends. It is now Thilion's turn, flying up in the air 10 feet up. Looking around, he can only really see, of the people that he's trying to fight right now, Akka. So he already used his big spell.
Oh, good.
No, you know what? He's going to drift 10 feet to the stairs. Morwen, you looking behind you at the crowd surging, you can see this guy floating, not facing you though. He turns in midair and holds a hand out, and you can see the wand freezes in his other hand, and that ice ripples across his chest, breaking off as it does so, down the arm, and this cone of cold emanates. I need... Oh, he's going to kill a bunch of people.
Damn, this guy
Heinrich,
is not playing around.
Heinrich and Akka, I need you guys to make, I believe, dexterity saving throws, but give me just 1 second.
That's an advantage for me.
Thunder's got a thing against you.
That is a... Oh, no. A constitution saving throw, sorry.
Oh, nice. That's even better.
That's one worse, but I still got a dirty 20.
That's perfect.
21.
Excellent. Hang on 1 second here. This 10, 22, 32, 42. You take 42 points of cold damage halved to 21. In addition, you're going to watch as the people around you, you can see Heinrich, that corpse of a tiefling that's off to your left instantly just freezes over into a brick. Also from that angle, that gladiator, or that Goliath running out with the warhammer looking frighteningly around, the cold sweeps over him. And you can see he shrugs it off, no problem. Resistant to cold damage, he's taken very little. And then it is also going to hit the orc behind him and the tiefling way in the back of this room. The orc fails and the tiefling fails. So you watch as this orc, who is running from where the bow is actually, Matt, as he's running mid-step, this frost strikes into him. You can see the force of this magic almost knocks him backwards before he freezes, about to topple backwards, the ice connecting him to the ground. The tiefling is also frozen. So they're dead.
Oh,
it's hurt. But that is his action. And as a bonus action, he is going to drift 10 feet.
Matt, do you have an interrupt?
Closer to you, Akka. Akka, do you have an interrupt?
I want to use my reaction to expend a psionic energy die and reduce the damage that I just took by a d6.
Okay.
Plus 5.
You can certainly do that.
Okay.
That is his movement and his action. His bonus action, he's going to shift the 10 feet. That is his turn. The gladiators. One is going to attempt to run... Heinrich, can you roll a d4 for me?
2.
Heinrich, you watch as the gladiator, like, swooping the helm, kind of framing the eyes. They cross right over you, and she turns and runs 10 feet in the opposite direction and shoves nothing with her shield. Still has no idea where you are. The other one, though, is going to run, seeing that Goliath is going to attempt to shield bash the Goliath to get by. That's certainly going to work. You watch as the Goliath, this cold hits him. He turns, the ice breaking away, the smile beginning, and then this other woman comes and just shoves him to the ground with her shield, leaps over top the body, and Akka is now right behind you. However, I believe she cannot make another attack because she used the shield bash. Give me just 1 second. 3 melee attacks. Actually, no. Can still make 2 attacks with the spear, or with the longsword. So, Akka, you watch the Goliath get toppled by the shield. The shield comes away, the longsword following behind. That is going to be a 20 to hit.
That misses.
Oh, shit.
And that is going to be a 22 to hit. I think that's
that
still
also misses.
Yeah.
Wow, what is your fucking AC?
This time, you can see as the sword comes, the first one misses, the second one comes up, strikes you right in the chest, clang, straight off. This armor, though thin and elegant in design, is sturdy. And as it strikes, you can see elements of the arcane decorations flare into life briefly, providing elements of that protection. But you're fine. That brings us, that's their turn, that brings us to Heinrich, and then Shae, you're on deck.
I am going to, within the 6 seconds I have, grab Akka on the shoulder and be like, do you trust me?
You turn and grab Akka on the shoulder, no problem.
If I'm being honest, not really. But In this moment, yes.
Okay, we're dimension dooring out of here.
Okay, where are you going? You can go pretty far with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to, if I can reach it, the entrance of the, what's it called?
The Jade Exchange?
No, the
Oh, the
Avenue.
Avenue.
Because we've been by it now 4 times, I think.
But it's 300-foot range?
400.
400? Yeah, you certainly can. In fact,
500. I'm sorry, it's 500. I've never used it for that big.
With 500, so closing your eyes, you can visualize the entrance to the safe house. And it's not a direct line, but through corridors and walls and the way that this place is laid out, you could theoretically go straight there.
Heinrich has never been to the safe house.
The entrance that you guys entered through is 10 feet away from the safe house. I mean, it's very close.
Okay.
Akka, you would remember like pausing outside and looking at the avenue the previous night. So yeah, without issue, you put a hand, you ask this question. Akka's like, not really, and you disappear.
As soon as the butt there, that's like, okay, good, we're good. Okay, let's go. And then
you reappear with that consent. That is important to the spell.
I know. That's why I asked him.
Very well done. You reappear right in front. You can see this orc kind of walking by, startles for a second. Watch it. And kind of continues on his way. But you guys are now outside. There is a relative quiet here. You can hear it down 300 feet away through alleyways and walls and different staircases and ladders. You hear a commotion distantly. But you are far away from the fray. That is well done.
Yeah.
Heinrich,
I'm just gonna, because I cast a spell, I can be seen now. So I'm just gonna like look at you, Akka, and just like, okay, good.
I mean, better than I was.
All right, and then the bonus action for what is it? Healing light.
Sure.
Just
you can. Yeah, you touch him with your hand. You take the hand away first and ask if he's all right, and then as you tap him again on the shoulder, those celestial runes flare to life around your hand and seep into his body.
And give him 20 points of HP back.
Ooh, nice. It's almost
spicy.
Like
Heinrich, that is your turn. Shae, you turn and look. You can see an interesting point. You've been watching these guards. You can see one goes in to help this kind of white-robed man out, and they protect him, but they don't seem to be moving to intercede or in any way try to react to what's happening on the inside. For what it's worth. You can see into the courtyard. You don't see Morwen, but you do see behind Morwen a dwarf and that individual who's being helped out. You hear others coming upstairs.
And it's like up to the top of the stairs to enter into this place?
So you'd have to go 10 feet across the courtyard, 10 feet up the stairs, 10 feet down the stairs, and you would be within the Jade Exchange.
I don't think I want to go all the way in, but like to the top level going, like making my way into it.
Okay. So you run, Morwen, you watch as Shae runs right by you.
And walking.
Walks faster than most are running.
Still
right
pretty
by
much running.
5 miles an hour walk.
It's like...
And
Okay,
Shae,
so
to do
I'm,
that,
running,
you
so we're just like passing?
Yeah, but she can't see you, so you just walk right past.
Yeah.
And Shae is now... Yeah, you can. So as you go past,
a tap of opportunity.
You feel the faintest tip of a claw on a furry finger tap you. And you know who that is. It's not a lot of people. There's not a lot of tabaxis.
It's invisible yet fuzzy. What is this?
Do you stop where Morwen stops you?
Yes. I don't look at her, but I like nod a little bit and like moving to sort of help people out. But not like...
Fair enough, yeah.
I'm still moving my direction. I assume she,
Okay.
she knows.
So, Shae, that was your turn. Akka, you now outside. You and Heinrich are far enough away that you guys are now out of combat. That is going to bring us to Morwen, or you're still running?
Oh, do I have the... can I check what my mage hand had retrieved for me?
Nothing. You dimension doored away, which breaks the length in the spell, I believe. So you have no idea.
I didn't know you were doing that.
Dropped somewhere.
I mean, you got the wrong thing anyways.
Inconsequential, yeah.
Can we just know what it was that he got out of curiosity? Or is this one of those like, nope, didn't see it?
You can ask Morwen, because Morwen saw it.
Oh, okay.
And you can see if she knows what that means. But that is the two of you. Morwen, you're running out, so that only leaves Shae. Shae, you watch as this this sorcerer erupting with electrical power, sparking from the eyes, floating 10 feet above the ground, wind swirling from his own creation out from him. You see these storm-filled eyes sweep the room, looking, and then he floats to the right to follow this gladiator, but you don't see anything. I will say, though, from your vantage point, Shae, you do see at the back right-hand side of the room a cluster of goblins, one with a black wig of stick-like hair, currently shrieking, pounced on this old man's chest and stabbing him repeatedly.
Jesus. What the hell?
There's a cluster of 5 goblins around this guy.
That's wild.
But that's happening.
That's wild. You
That's
got the
the only-
floating guy?
That's
That was
Goblin?
Mr. Shae. Are you leaving now that your party is gone?
Yes. Slowly. Not like
So
in
you
a rush
turn-
and not making a scene. Like,
Yeah.
You
get in
try
there
kind
and
of
look.
helping
This is-
somebody out.
Like the Grandpa Simpson
Yeah.
walking in and walking back out.
You begin to help somebody out, and with them, you move. And for this moment, because you guys have slipped away, I take you out of combat. Well done.
Hey, we
Look at
didn't
Very well done.
die.
Put that on a usually early perk check mark for most parties of escape a dangerous combat.
Level 13, first time.
Yep.
But
So-
because that happened, we're going to have Morwen and Shae. You guys are kind of now on the outside in the Avenue of Everdusk. It is busy. There are still people going everywhere. There's people like pointing and talking about what just happens. When we get back from the break, which we'll take right now, we will talk a little bit about that. But it is 10:26. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back at 10:36. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Man, you guys didn't fight something. Well, I mean,
know.
a little bit fight. It was a. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Thank you to those of you who stuck with us through the break. I know I saw Talon and Das. Thank you guys for always kind of showing up and hanging out. I know Das is doing his campaign tonight, so hope that's going well. You haven't gone the way of the Guntir. But for those of you who stuck with us, for those of you who are just joining in, where we left off, our group had gone to the Jade Exchange, an infamously dangerous black market kind of like a convention. Within this, you guys immediately, almost 2 sentences in to you arriving within the Jade Exchange, mentioned that Calico Amir had sent you, Akka did you, and immediately incurred the wrath of the person you were sent to negotiate. Amir had mentioned if you mentioned his name, you might get a better price. It turns out that he owed 30,000 gold to this individual, Thulian. However,
point out we got a better price. It was free.
Yeah, you certainly did. So technically, he didn't lie. So, all of you have left. Akka, Heinrich, you guys have teleported far away. You were, very far away at this distance. Morwen, you kind of walking invisibly. Shae, you next to Morwen, having a rough idea as to where she is.
She's not invisible anymore because I used another
Right.
spell.
So, Morwen appears next to you. Shae and Morwen, you guys are now walking out of the courtyard.
True. It's just how noticed was my poof into existence.
In a crowd,
in the crowd of
floating electric man.
Not a whole lot.
Okay, good.
Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff happening, and somebody appearing within a crowd, not terribly noticeable. So you feel relatively hidden.
When I do appear, though, I'm probably going to be doing like a fast, like a funny, quick walk, just like, slow down, act casual.
And as you act casual, you guys walk down the stairs and exit the Jade Exchange. No problem. Heinrich and Akka, you guys are outside of the Avenue of Everdusk. It will take Morwen and Shae, given the maze-like nature of this place, maybe like 5 minutes to get back to where you are. In that 5 minutes, is there anything that you do? Akka, you're 10 feet away from the safe house.
So...
Sorry, just needed to get us out of there. We've been...
No, that's fine. Just
many a situation like that before. Is there like a... one end or the other of this alley that we could go wait at that's safer to like get their attention? Because I'm pretty sure they have no idea where we are right now.
Follow me, and I'm gonna go to the safe house at this point.
Okay. Akka says, "Follow me." Does an about face and walks 10 feet down an alleyway. You could see almost like a storm cellar doors. There are some barrels to the left and to the right, but Akka, you go up and opening it in the way that you know how to do. There are a set of like 4 wooden stairs that lead down to a relatively modest space, but there is, bedding and some basic supplies that are scattered throughout the space. There's a door at the very back that leads to the room that Akka, there to be a teleportation circle in.
So I'm going to be like, make yourself at home. I'd like send your familiar out so that they could spot it, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Good.
I didn't need to. We don't think we need to go inside yet, but I'll have her go get their attention, basically.
Okay. Nod. The little owl just goes off outside.
I'll have her appear midair flight already.
Okay.
And just sort of going like at a height where people who aren't looking up wouldn't notice her.
Sure,
and
it's
not
difficult
too high
here.
that like. Yeah, I mean, like, unless there's an easy way for her to just go, like, up and over the buildings and back down towards, like, where they would be.
So it's not really buildings. I mean, you're in what is basically the Avenue of Everdusk out and to the north of where you are. It has a high ceiling by virtue of the fact that it's been carved out to create this long avenue and the artificial kind of dusk that occurs here.
Uh-huh.
The rest of this place, I mean, you're within hallways and buildings, and there is no real sky. So there is no buildings to go over. It's all one hive.
Okay. So then, all right, I'll just have her fly as best as she can, not detectedly.
And yeah, sure. And doing that, the easiest way is to kind of go from one thing, land, kind of look around as an owl might, and then take off and land somewhere else. But goes outside, and you kind of find a position where you can go on the edge of somebody's balcony. Nobody appears to be out on it at the moment. And Nod, looking down, you have a overview, like security camera style, of the approach.
And then I
Couple
see them
minutes
all
go
when they come
by.
back.
I'm just gonna lounge and be like, well, hopefully Morwen found the chalk.
I trust her to have. I mean, she's pretty good at finding things like that.
Does
Shae and Morwen,
know-
as you guys are walking out of the Avenue of Everdusk, you turn to the right, you hear a faint "Ooh." And you look and you can see Nod, like 15 feet up on a balcony, just looking down at you. The head just turns
I think they're
and just
that
goes
way.
to this little storm cellar thing and perches on it.
I'll just follow it.
Okay. 5 minutes go by, and Anka, Heinrich, you hear the door open, and looking out, the little bit of red light that filters through, there's the shadows with the two cat ears, and then Morwen appears and Shae behind her.
So
guys
did you
roll
get
out
it?
in the safe house.
What happened?
Apparently, our friend had a 30,000 gold debt with Thulian, which he was none too happy about, and wanted me to pay for it, which too rich for my blood, certainly.
Yeah, and most people's to be.
And
quite honest.
then he started attacking, so
We dipped.
left.
As you do.
And Morwen maybe had a plan. I was the distraction. It was not a great plan, but
It
I'm alive, so
worked.
you know.
Oh, you got it.
Of course I got it.
Is it actually arcane chalk?
Looking at it and given your background and your knowledge, as soon as she pulls it out, it is certainly arcane chalk. It's this
I'm
powder form that can
impressed.
be used to lay out sigils and runes on the ground to create the circle, or just the sigils that you need to move.
I'll say,
Uh,
repeating it, we do a lot better not in cities. This kind of thing isn't as attention grabbing when there's fewer people around, but we're okay what we're doing. That's why we're still all around here.
Right.
Oh, shit. And I look over at
That's-
Morwen after saying that.
I shed a tear, but it goes straight into the fur, so you can't see.
Okay,
Alright,
so
do we even bother going back to this guy who set us up? Like, what was his plan knowing this debt? Like, what the hell?
Probably to get us to pay for it.
what like is this just two shady guys in the city who have unsettled debt because they've existed for a long time? Like, do I have any insight on what this could happen? Like, given the goings on in the city.
In the moment, you would have wanted to either figure out whether or not you believe Amir when he was talking to you, or maybe this other individual when they were talking to you. But in the swirling chaos and melee that just occurred, hard to really think back and evaluate. What I'll say is you could, I mean, you can think what you want to think.
All I'm saying is that if this dude set us up, is there anyone else in this city?
I mean, he's
If
got
we
the
just bring
best
the chalk
deal.
too.
We got the chalk. It's 500 pieces of gold. What's the big deal? We did what he asked.
Would I be able
Why would you
to
be so quick to believe him now?
prep the circle and make the sigil with the chalk so that the only thing that would be required is like the final component of the person who can cast teleport?
You could certainly try.
I think I'll try to like prepare the spell as much as I can,
Okay.
knowing the sigil without and then that way it's like, all right, here's your money, just get us out of here.
Sure.
Fucking not telling us about
Okay,
your
you
debt.
take this powder and you take the cork out, and as you
Shady
do,
people in this city, they all have shit that they don't tell us about.
the strength of the glow strengthens slightly as you touch it. The arcane nature of your being and its sort of meeting, and there's some kind of a reaction or understanding almost. But you begin to sprinkle it out and shape it as best you can. I'm going to say make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Oh, so what are you doing? You're wasting the stuff.
No, just I don't think so with a 30.
Whoa!
So
Holy
you
shit.
watch.
Showing those magic.
Aka's about to tap it out, and you say this to like stop. Aka stops, looks up, and just says, "I don't think so." And as he takes the vial and gives it a shake, like a hard shake, half of it just appears and suddenly begins to almost shape itself. Aka, as your hands move ever so subtly, commanding the magic within it, attuning it to your own, you create the perfect sigil of the Lorebinder Academy. In this moment, you can mark off half of that. So that's 50 gold pieces worth of that chalk. You still have 50% or 50 gold pieces left. And looking at it, you're fairly, whoever has it in their inventory.
I'd hand it back to you after I did it.
Okay.
Okay.
You
I
are
didn't pay
confident,
for it. So.
Aka, though you do not know how to cast the spell itself, you are confident that this is the correct sigil and that it is in the correct location.
Okay.
You merely need somebody who has the spell.
Like, look, it's all ready. We just need a person to cast the spell on it. So he can do it. We just pay him and get out of here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Shall we? Can we? Please be on our way.
All right.
I mean, is someone gonna go fetch him?
Sure.
All right. Fun.
Why don't
I've never met this individual.
Maybe it's time.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
Only when the spell needs to be cast. Don't
has
care
my
what to say.
homunculus returned from its questing?
You sent it to Dungannon, correct?
I sent it to the safe house to be taken to Dungannon. Not the homunculus itself, but the message.
Okay, so then yes, the homunculus would have returned.
Okay. I think I would write the address. No, I'm gonna go. I want to see this dude in person.
Okay.
I'm gonna, yeah.
So Aka's going. Who's going with Aka?
Actually, I'll go.
Okay.
I
Aka
didn't
and
mind
Morwen.
him. I don't really care what happened.
Sure. Aka and Morwen. So Shae, you?
I think I'll stay with Heinrich for this one.
Okay. So
Let's discuss plans.
in a somewhat predictable turn of events, Aka and Morwen, Guntir and Morwen, Aka and Morwen head off and in the direction of the creepy captain guy, and the adults stay and they plan things out. So Aka and Morwen, you guys make your way back to the three-tatted cord section of the city without too much issue, although you will notice as you exit and go away from the Avenue of Everdusk, there is quite a commotion. Still things kind of going on, but you make your way out. You head towards the three-tatted cords.
All right. So
Before we go in, Naka, you wanna do some gambling?
do your friends mind?
If they don't know, won't hurt them.
I mean, yeah, I could kind of. It's been a long day. That really hurt, you know? I wasn't.
Yeah, you know what? You know what
This is-
helps? Gambling.
All right. Let's go. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, I'm so surprised that worked. I'm so charming.
So
I
Aka,
say out loud to him.
Aka, you know
I'm
that-
impressed by how you got the chalk earlier. So I'm like, okay, maybe this Morwen is the competent one.
Not the one that saved your ass.
Oh, I think it's also fair to say that
Well,
I grabbed
Heinrich
my
got
stuff
some
back
points.
yesterday.
For
Okay.
dimension
Perfect.
dooring.
What's up?
Heinrich got points for dimension dooring us.
And the
And
healing.
invisible.
And
20
healing,
healing
yeah.
and invisibility, which you
Truly,
spawned.
you
Yeah.
did everything. I just stole.
You know, tactician over
Yeah.
here. It's fine.
everybody else just ran around. But-
No, it was. Aka is feeling less cold towards you.
Okay. So, the two of you, as you're going, you, without any trouble, if you want to get there, you can reach. You've gone there before. You know the way.
Yeah. Let's see. Where's a good gambling place around here?
So interesting point. You know, Nocturne is a card town. Cards are sort of like maybe not a way of life, but it's the primary form of gambling.
Yeah.
Aka, you haven't gambled a ton in your day. You do know. Make a
I'd probably do some.
make a history check. Call it a history check.
Okay. That's 24.
Okay, 24. The 24, you know of two places to gamble. You know, a place a little bit lower end and a place that is much higher end.
Hmm.
You know, first, let me find it. You know that there is a little tavern in the Court of Law called Tidewise, right on the edge of where the Court of Law meets the three-tided cord. It's not on the guide because it's one of the things. It's not like a major spot.
Okay.
The thing that you know most about it is that there is a gnome whose name is Gilligan Daffigal. And Gilligan, he runs a blackjack game, which is called Fools and Fae in this particular world, in the back of this tavern. You, with that role, I'll say you also know Daffigal is backed by the Circle of Silence. So the terms are fairly expensive. I would say you know that the ante here is 100 gold pieces, and so it's a fairly pricey game. However, it is not as pricey as the Silken Parlor, which is a building replete with soft velvety carpet. The walls go up an entire story, so it's 12 feet tall, which in Nocturne is huge. There are 3 tables, 2 that are kind of like pickup games of what's called Timorica, which is basically poker. And the table at the back is a much higher roller place. And you've heard that money isn't the only thing that can be exchanged there. Buildings have exchanged hands. Artifacts have exchanged hands of note to you. That is a very high roller table.
I would relay this information to Morwen. Be like, so you've got, the Tidewise, which is lower, and then what was it? The Silken
Parlor.
The Silken Parlor. That's for high end. So maybe more in your taste. You've got the ship and bet that if you really want
what's
it.
the minimum bid for a high roller table?
In the Silken Parlor, you've never been there, Aka. You have no idea, but I would say
a lot.
Yeah, you would imagine there's no minimum to raise and no maximum. This is a place where you can literally lose.
Anything goes kind of place.
Let's start small and see how we do.
Start. Right.
All right. This place is also like $100 buy-in. Not necessarily cheap in and of itself. 100 gold buy-in.
What's $1?
I mean, wait,
you gotta pay 100 doll hairs.
Oh yeah.
What about cat hairs?
Terrible economy.
I don't know what the exchange rate is.
Well, so, but what are card I don't as a person don't know how.
Fools and Fae.
So I don't know.
So when you get there, I'll explain the rules.
Morwen
Morwen would know the rules. Yes.
Okay.
So just as a quick briefer before you decide,
Yeah.
you would know that these games are probably played using the Sarentil standard deck. It is a 45 card deck of cards. There are 4 suites, and then there's the Regent, which is like the wild card. Suits, sorry. I keep messing it up for some reason.
That's all good.
Candies.
Little candies. So you would know the suits are the suit of stars, the suit of ice, the suit of seas, and the suit of trees. And Morwen, having a little bit of a background gambling, would know that each number from each suit represents something within Sarentil in the traditional art and styling of the cards. In most simple cards, it's just numbers and suits. But you would know that Timorica, the game of poker, is basically played like 5-card stud. You ante. You get dealt a certain number of cards. You bet. You're allowed to replace however many you want. You bet again. Then you show your cards. Typically, the winner takes all, but it's a little different everywhere. Fools and Fae is straight up blackjack. You're looking at It's just blackjack. You get dealt 2 cards. You can hit. You can stand. That's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. So actually going to gamble right now, it's not just as simple as like rolling. Like I actually have to play this game.
I mean, you're rolling for the cards and stuff, but yeah.
Oh shit.
Let's do it. Don't worry, I can help.
Okay. Fine, we'll do one. At least
All right, you guys
It's,
are
it's
heading.
your goal, but
You're heading
you
to
know,
Daffodil, right? To the
Yeah.
Tidewell?
well, hey, I'll split the winnings with
To
you.
the Tidewise?
So you want to try just
Okay.
as hard as I do? How about that?
well, if we're going splitsies, then of course I'm going to try to win.
So heading to the Tidewise. You guys make your way. As this is happening, Heinrich and Shae, you guys, unbeknownst to you, have a little bit of time to kill, but are within the safe house. Is there anything that you're doing in the meantime?
I mean, just kind of going over everything again about why Lord Binder Academy first, and then our steps afterwards.
Okay.
Like, easiest paths to get back to where we need to go, at least to get to, you know, that kind of stuff.
So combining your knowledge, you're trying to trace a route to where you're going. We're trying to go.
Yeah, I mean, starting with why the Lord Binder Academy first is because we need information on Azra, and then we both had read different books about like artifacts that are tied to her, so maybe like a weak point, or there was
Okay.
like that. There was that chain. There was something else. I have some of them. Ba 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 ba. No, well, maybe this is one. This is more about like the blade, so that's obvious. And then, oh yeah, the rot blade. But there's also, I think you may have that cutout from like, I don't know, literally like 8 months ago.
What was it?
I think there was like a chain, but there was something about like a.
Yes. So you remember that there is. That's loud. I want to say either the rot chain or something similar, but there is this urban legend of a supposedly a tiefling with vibrant yellow markings who stalks the gated marsh and serves Azra in some regard.
Right.
It is an urban legend, and so how valid or true that is, unclear, but I did mention Azra by name, so.
Right. So hopefully they'll have found more stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully won't, you know, they took care of the rot that was there.
From your last conversation where he literally told somebody off view from you that to go and burn it, you would imagine they probably did, but you can certainly find out.
Yeah. But aside
So-
from that, paths back, what would be our best options? Do you know the north? We took one way, but is there a faster way?
Would I know a faster way?
A good person to ask might be Gamble. You know that Gamble is working on something for Guntir, and maybe that will help, or maybe some other device in terms of flying, because from Mount Yishi, it might be a little faster. If you could find a straight way, you could get to the very base level of the, you'd hit right about the middle of the giant step. Outside of that, I mean, with non-magical means, you could just climb the giant step.
Yeah, I mean, I'd assume that's what we were going to do unless there was anything else. But
I mean, the other option would be is if we could get a message to Krodok, perhaps he could go up before we get there and retrieve the pieces.
true. And we would still need to head there anyways, so it wouldn't be a waste of time to head there. Yeah, if you could figure out a way to get a message to Krodok. Don't know how. You have had him tail us this whole time. Apparently he always knows where we are. But I just assumed some sort of Zinni thing. I wasn't quite honest. Or honestly, like, I have no idea.
When we originally set out from Port Quinn, I left him a message. Not necessarily him, but he is the one who found it. I doubt he would come find us in Nocturne.
How would we get a message to him?
You ponder. We'll get back to that. Although, you know, perhaps the lore binders also, being a repository of knowledge, might have a place or a way to get to Yorn. You know, possibly. But you guys consider these things and begin to talk about these plans. Akka and Morwen. Akka, you lead Morwen to a place called Tidewise. It's a nice-ish tavern, just a step below fine. Um, Entering, you can see immediately that there is behind this little counter a gnome, although not Daffodil. This seems to be maybe somebody working here.
Okay.
There's some beers that are there's one on top. There's a couple bottles of something. You can see some whiskey. You see a door behind. There's just the bar and some stools. It's a narrow space. There's a door behind. You smell not pipe leaf, but actual tobacco kind of wafting out. You hear the sound of gold being moved around. You hear the sound of cards being shuffled, and you would imagine that the game is currently going on. Worth noting, it only really happens on Friday, and it is Friday. But this is Daffodil's Friday Fools and Fae,
Okay.
the game that he runs here. So you can,
Um,
Is that the blackjack one?
yes,
yeah.
Word. Not that I know the difference between any of them.
I guess we should
That
wait
one.
for a spot to open up at the table. Want to grab a drink while we wait?
Nah.
All right. Well,
Gonna
I'm
sit
gonna
down
get
and
a
stare at
drink.
them.
Okay, you can see the gnome comes over. This particular gnome, an interesting note, he's above the bar, so you would imagine the floor behind the bar has been raised to allow him to be eye level with you. So definitely built for these gnomes to work at. But he looks across the counter, just kind of squints at you and says, "Yeah, so you guys having anything to drink?"
Yeah. I'll get an
All right.
ale.
All right, one ale, 2 silver pieces, please.
All right. I'm gonna give him 5 silver pieces
Okay.
and say,
Oh,
I'll get the next one ready. You know.
right away, sir. Hey, you have all this money.
I
I'm
don't.
looking.
That's really it.
Oh, never mind.
Spending.
Then, never mind.
She's got the money. She's
Sorry.
the gambler here.
A gambler. Okay. You looking to get into this game?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we were
All
gonna
right. Let
wait
me
for a
get you some
table.
drinks and then just go on in. This space is open. It's
All
early.
right.
Goes over, pulls, and you can see it is this kind of darker, right on the edge of maybe being a little bit more than an ale, but very deep, dull red color. Hands it over to you. Go ahead, go on in.
All right.
Okay.
Much obliged. After
I
you,
go right
Morwen.
on in.
Okay, Morwen, you walk in, and as you enter, you can see this kind of crescent-shaped table, and sitting at it, there are 4 figures. One of them is a gnome up at the head of the table, shuffling these cards, and you would imagine Daffodil himself. Akka, you would know that this is Daffodil. This very red hair, a mustache that is a little bit uneven and longer on the left side than the right.
Mhm.
You see this smattering of freckles across the cheek, and the hair balding a little bit, but not so much to be noticeable unless the light hits it in just the right way. And then you see the whole kind of scalp glowing through. The interior here is lit by 2 lanterns on either side of this table. You see there is a 50-something-year-old human male, dull red hair, thin wire spectacles, and a fine yellow doublet that's quartered with green. Poofy sleeves, elaborately puffy pants that are cinched into like a strange looking, like it's like a set of hook-toed boots. He's plastered. You can see there is a ancient goblin, probably like 17 years old. No eyebrows. He's wearing a man bun with long sideburns that poof out and combine with the hair that's coming out of his ears. You can see there's actually like kind of like unruly sideburns that's like tangled into the tufts themselves.
Mm.
He's got a dirty black shirt on with white accents around the hands, and then a pair of small dark fabric pants with a visible rapier on the side of his body. And then finally, you can see a hobgoblin. Kind of unusual even here, but sort of like a bear-like face, a flat nose. Um, Different than the bugbear that you met. This is a much more kind of stoic-looking individual, uh, wearing studded leather armor with a strange kind of side that seems to be more restrictive. It's like very primitive in ways, but well made. Um, they all kind of turn and look. They look at each of you, and you can see the gnome kind of look over. You're looking to get into a game, friends.
Yes, please.
Grab a seat, both of you.
I don't think I have enough for the buy-in.
Just 100 gold pieces. I'm sure you've got enough. If not, you can wait outside. This is for players.
Oh. Well, I guess I'll go polish off these drinks. Good luck, Morwen.
Takes the 2 drinks and heads out the door. The door is open, and so Akka, you sitting at the end of the bar, you can kind of look in and you can see what's happening.
I think I'd kind of like stay and watch as best I can, you know.
Yeah, you're like 15 feet away. It's not too far.
And should I'm debating if I want to try to pickpocket while I'm here.
I mean, I can't help you with that. That's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna
Slip it
mull
into
it
your old
over
ways
as
there, Matt.
I sip my wine. No, I mean
Okay.
it's a thing that Akka has done.
Sure.
Has done.
So what are you doing?
I'm just mulling over if I want to try and steal from these people.
It's your case in the joint.
Yeah. Do any of them look particularly well off, I guess?
In here? Okay. Yeah, make a perception check for sure.
Like, they're not going to miss it if some gold is missing.
Find out. You're the only person at the
Over there.
bar. It's like 2 PM.
Right. I'm talking about the people at the table.
Yeah,
that you had
yeah,
just,
go ahead.
yeah. So that's 25.
25. Looking over, you can see that human that's like plastered. There's very little in front of him at this table. You would imagine he's drunk because he's lost a lot. You do see that there is a silver flask pinned to the side of his belt. It's silver, like actual silver. You see a faint patina to it that would indicate as such. And there are 4 jade bands that are inlaid around it. That looks pretty pricey, but you don't see a lot of gold in front of him.
Okay.
Turning your attention to this goblin, for how ancient it is, it's like a crypt creeper looking goblin. It looks like a pickle that somebody left out in the sun. Little man bun kind of up. There's something really weird about around the head, the little man bun kind of deal. There's like this little leather band, and you can see in the front there is like a circle of metal, and there's like an inscription. Although you can't read it from this distance, and his back is to you, but there is something vaguely magical about that. That seems like it's pretty valuable. And in front of him, there's several hundred gold pieces. And then with the 25, you said?
Mm-hmm.
This hobgoblin looks like probably the most well put together. And in front of him, you see a couple hundred gold pieces. There's a few pieces of platinum. There's a 10-piece platinum bar. He seems to be the most wealthy by virtue of winning at the moment.
Okay. Don't want to kick a guy when he's down, but the flask seems like the easiest to nab. So I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
And every now and then he'll take a drink from it, try to put it back on the belt. He'll drop it, have to go and pick it up. Like he's pretty drunk.
Okay.
So when you're like casing looking for targets, kind of an easy one.
Yeah.
He is the furthest from you, but would be even to him and the hobgoblin are like the left and right, and then directly in front of you is this old goblin. Morwen is between the goblin and the hobgoblin. Actually, Morwen, you could sit on either side of the goblin, so whichever of those 2 seats you want.
I'll mull this over while I sip my beer and watch.
Okay. For what it's worth, the beer is a very, very, despite its color, quite light. Not great. It's called, I think it's called Citrus Tide. Give me 1 second here. It is Citrus Tide. I'm sorry, that was 1 silver piece for each.
Probably had it at some point.
It's a Sunrest import. But you sip on your beer. Morwen, where are you sitting? You sitting to the left or the right of the goblin? Do you want to be next to a really drunk human or a very put together and very wealthy looking hobgoblin?
I'll sit next to the drunkie.
Okay. You sidle up to the
Might be able to
drunkie.
keep those cards easier.
The gnome shuffles the cards, looks at you. Have you ever played Fools and Fae?
Has Morwen ever played Fools and Fae?
Yeah, you have. It's blackjack. You've played it before.
Yes.
Excellent. The ante is 100 gold pieces. You can raise or bet in increments of 50. You drop 100 gold pieces down on the table, no problem. A couple of them roll away and you have to scoop them back in. But how much are you putting on the table? Because you can put more in front of you. It seems like everybody has
100.
just 100. Okay, you just put 100 down and slide it
Just
all
minimum
right
right
out as an
now.
ante. Sure.
I,
on
as
the
a
table.
person, am nervous about this. I don't.
You see
didn't know
the
what I'm
drunk
doing.
human, a little sweaty. You can see he's like kind of clammy, just that drunken sweat going on. Just looks up at you. I'm Eldridge. And the
It's a
person,
pleasure.
the goblin sitting on your other side, just looks and kind of. The person over to the other side, this hobgoblin stares at you, doesn't say anything, and just
Wow.
slides 100 gold pieces out in front of him. But everybody has anteed. So the way that this is going to work, I am going to need. I wrote the rules, right? Yes. I need Morwen, you to roll 2d10.
Sorry, I never roll this. So
Yeah.
I was like, which one are they?
Flying saucers.
All right. It's a 9 and a 9, or 99, if that's what you're looking for.
That is sort of right. That is 18. So you draw
Okay.
2 9s. You draw the 9 of stars and the 9 of ice. These are fairly normal looking cards, so it's just the color and the number. But together, that gives you a score of 18. You're trying to get to 21. Right now, a 9 is face up and a 9 is face down. You look to your left, you can see the human kind of drunkenly holding up his cards. With your passive perception, I'll say you can actually see both of them. He is holding a 6 and a 9, so 15 in total. Looking over to the right, you can see the goblin very sneakily snap them up and back down. But you can see that there is the 10 of stars face up, so at least 10. Looking all the way over at the bugbear, who's the only one I haven't rolled for yet, you see a 10 face up as well. He looks over to the drunken individual first, and he just looks up. Hit me. Another card goes down. It's a 3. You say, look at him again. Hit me again.
No.
It is. It is a 5. And you can see with disgust, he shoves the gold away all over the table. He flips over his card, and that is a 25. He is busted. You can see the dealer now turns to you, Morwen.
Hello.
You can choose, you would know, Morwen, you could choose to either stay and keep your cards and hit and get another card.
Could she split since she has doubles? Is that a thing in
There is no splitting, just
What does that
dice. I got too
What is
complicated.
gambling?
Don't worry about it.
All
So-
I've done is the slots.
Morwen,
That's all I've ever done.
You've done
just
the
have to
Wheel
pull-
of fortune.
Yeah.
You don't even have to
Have
pull the
I ever
lever these
gambled
days. You
in
just
my-
push a button.
Yeah, that's
you
all
can
I've done.
hit, you can raise the amount, or you can hit, or you can stay.
I stay.
Okay, so you keep your score. He turns and just to speed it up a little bit for the goblin. You can see he gets a
Wait.
3 and then a 2. Yep.
I don't know if this is like at all a deception game or anything, but can I be
Okay.
eyeballing them and maybe rolling insight if they're like excited? Being like,
Sure.
"Ooh," or like,
Make an insight check as these cards flip and the goblin looks.
is that something smart to do?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already.
Thanks for your support.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've already stayed, so I think you're out now.
Well, you have 18. It's against the dealer, so
It's heads up here, so it's
Ah.
not against the dealer.
never mind.
You
that.
don't see cards in front of the dealer, so interesting point and good to know.
Well, I mean, even still, if I play another round, I want to check these people out.
See if you
Aw.
can learn his tells.
All right,
Yeah.
so that's gonna be what am I doing?
Insight.
Where the
Insight
hell is
check.
that? Oh,
It's a skill.
okay.
It's
Yeah,
alphabetically.
D10.
Okay. You look over at the goblin who looks back at you. Don't look at my cards. And slides them away from you. With that 10, though, even with that 10, you see the hobgoblin next to him. Just look. The hobgoblin is going to hit. You see a 3 come up for a total of 13 on the board. It's going to hit again. You see an 11 come up. That gives him, you would think, a total of 24. But he flips the card over and there's a 1. He's at 17. He hits again. That brings him to 20 as a 3 comes up.
Mm.
So I lost.
You see the goblin turn. You see the hobgoblin look at the goblin. And just stops. But as the dealer kind of motions for them to turn up, the goblin turns us over, and both of them have 20, which means that they are splitting your money and this drunken individual's money. So you watch, money goes to them. They each slide a couple gold coins over to the dealer. Sorry, Morwen, you've lost.
Probably didn't even get to finish my beer yet.
Nah, it's quick.
Thanks
Here's
for
like
your
half done.
time. Bye.
You're not going to do it.
That's
Great.
it? One hand?
You paying up? Fine. I'll do one more. Fine. One more.
Okay. You drop down 100 gold. The whole thing goes around again. So roll 2d10.
Finishing my first beer, being like, boo.
Now, looks like I gotta make this a little easier for myself in terms of how I'm keeping these notes. Goblin, hobgoblin, Morwen.
While this next hand is happening,
Sure.
I would like to use my mage hand to invisibly pilfer that guy's flask by grabbing it and then bringing it under the table so that it's like at the people's feet who are sitting at the table and
Okay.
undetectable by anyone who's
Gotcha.
paying attention to the game. And
Morwen,
then
what's
just
your
like
roll?
plop it.
Sorry, excuse me. 8 and a 6.
An 8 and a 6. Okay. So, looking over, you see the human first, a 7 up on the table. He looks down. You can see he's starting to get a little paler. There's only about 150 gold pieces left in front of him, but he says hit. You see another 7 come up for 14 on the board. Lauren, make an insight check. You said you were doing that?
That's a 12 this time.
Okay.
Sneaking up.
With the 12, because of how drunk this guy is, you see a little bit of the color return. He's happy with his hand. You see the goblin sees a 3 on the board, hits again, gets a 6 for. It's going to hit again. And you watch as the goblin turns the card over, busts at 22.
Dang.
Morwen, you have a current total of 14 with 6 on the table. What would you like to do?
Hit me.
So
What?
you pull a card up, and because it is a 1 on the dice, you can choose for this to be a 1 or an 11. A 1 will put you at 15, and 11 will put you over. So it's a 1. You're at 15. What do you want to do?
Hit me.
A 5 comes up, putting you at
Ooh.
20.
Oh, I stop. But I'm like cooler than that. I'm not like,
Okay.
I'm just like,
Make a deception check.
oh, okay. Sorry, that was crooked.
It's going against passive insight, so it's not terribly high that you need.
16.
Okay. You watch now the last person to go, the hobgoblin, flips over a card. They currently have only 6 on the board. A 7 flips up for 13 on the board. The hobgoblin looks over at you. You see the eyes narrow. You rolled a 16? Okay. I fold. Slides the cards in.
Nice.
You can see this drunk guy look up. Hey,
Oh.
I raise. He slides 150 gold pieces into the middle of the table.
Is it
That's
just-
everything for me. You see the goblin look down at his cards,
I'm drinking
which
my
are
other beer
busted
now.
and he can't play. So it's just you and this
And the drunk
human.
man.
Oh shit! Is he drunk enough that I can sneak a peek?
How do you want to try to sneak a peek? His cards are on the table. You can see there are 2 7s up.
So how much would I have to?
150.
What do you
But
think?
that's all of his money. Meanwhile, Akka, make a sleight of hand check with your magical hand.
Invisible magic hand.
I hate
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
Sleight of hand. Nice. That is 28.
Okay. Akka, you look over and you're the only person you'd imagine that can see this. But you make a motion and the hand extends, invisible to everybody but you. You see a faint outline. It drifts across, and you watch as the fingers elegantly pluck the single fastener, and the flask just drops to the ground gently and then slides underneath. Are you putting it in anywhere in particular?
I'm like sliding it over and then, hiding it away on my person, but like in a place that would not.
So you're going to bring it out up the stairs through the doorway and to the bar.
Am I not? I thought I was like kind of.
You're around a corner, but it's going to go. The dealer is facing the doorway, so you're going to go right up in front of the dealer. So he's looking. He's not looking for somebody to be invisibly sneaking out a flask, so it's probably not a great look.
Does it have to be like? Is the door not open?
So the door is open. The stairs that go 5 feet down to this table thing. So you're going up 5 foot. It's not a big staircase.
Yeah, I want to keep it on the ground as much as possible.
And he doesn't. The dealer doesn't seem to notice, and so it slides out. And you look down. There's this beautiful flask with these bands of jade inlaid into it. It is open and almost empty, but you have a 400 gold piece flask.
Whoa,
nice!
It is a very nice flask.
I'm gonna just tuck it away, wipe off the rim of it.
Okay. It smells like shitty whiskey.
Yeah. I'm not gonna actually drink it. I'm gonna go hawk this somewhere.
Sure.
Morwen. Nice.
Oh, sorry.
That's it.
So Morwen, are you putting 150 gold pieces in?
Yeah, I'm just gonna steal it from someone else later anyway. For it.
You slide 150
Let's be real.
pieces.
I haven't earned a single piece of this gold.
The second that you push it forwards, the drunk human leaps to his feet, slamming his hands down on the table. Gold goes everywhere. He flips his card over. It's another 7. 21.
Damn.
Yeah, unfortunate. All 4 sevens came up in this, so very interesting. I kind of thought about it, and I'm assuming that there's more than one deck because that's how it would work if more than that came out.
Sure.
But that's pretty cool. So he scoops 300 gold, 500 gold pieces into his possession. You can
Is
see
he counting it?
No.
Might
Make a sleight of hand check.
Some losses there.
You actually would see, similar to what you're doing, the dealer who coughs, but this guy's still trying to scoop it all. He just reaches out and takes a couple gold pieces for himself because he wasn't getting the tip. But
all right, so
he
how's
rolled
it
a 7.
34?
34.
To keep some of this gold.
You can add 15 gold pieces back. You just take a fistful of gold. Yeah, no problem. The hobgoblin sees you. The goblin's
like
kind of pissed off.
5% of what you lost.
The goblin's pissed off that he busted. The hobgoblin who folded wisely kind of narrows his eyes and looks. He sees you do it. He's very observant. He's watching you in particular, but doesn't say anything. And I would say Morwen
sees me do it, and I know he sees me do it.
Yeah, I would say you guys make eye contact at a certain point.
You're just like
stone-faced. There's nothing happening there.
I'm just gonna wink and get up. Just be like, if he catches me and he's not gonna call me out, just be like,
okay,
see ya.
The dealer looks up at you and looks around and, well, I guess you helped somebody. Have a good night, miss. And begins to shuffle and deal again. This drunk guy is like laughing. He reaches down, and just begins to look for his flask.
I'm gonna finish my drink and start making my way towards the door, seeing that Morwen's getting up.
Okay, the bartender kind of waves to you. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks again.
The two of you make your way out into the street, having stolen a flask and lost some money.
Because this wouldn't have been the case if Guntir was still around.
As a total, technically, you guys made 50 gold pieces if you were able to sell that at full price. That's pretty good.
He's not gonna share that with me.
Probably
not. I will. I'll be like, hey, we made out okay, I think.
Nah, you stole a rusty old flask.
I mean, holding it up, it is not a rusty old flask. This is
Get good money for this.
yeah, let me pull this out here. So Eldridge's flask it's a silver flask with 4 jade inlaid bands around it, worth about 400 gold pieces. It's nice.
Would I know a good fence to bring this to?
The Jade Exchange is the best place to fence things. However, with that probably not an option to you at this moment. You're probably looking outside of the Avenue of Everdusk.
Yeah, like somewhere, maybe a little more local to me.
Aga would probably buy it in the general store in the Madrak.
Alright.
I mean, she won't really care that it's stolen either.
All right, let's you want to head somewhere to pawn this and then go get this guy?
She's not gonna pay you full price, straight up, and she's pretty tough. She'll give you a fair-ish price, and she's not gonna negotiate it,
Oh,
or she's gonna try not to. You can,
yeah. I mean, I feel like I probably would have enough of a relationship with her to haggle a bit, but
We'll find out.
mutual respect.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah, she's
I
like
mean, is it because of
an
you?
angry aunt to me.
Oh.
What?
No, is it better if you to do it versus me?
I mean, yeah, but are you gonna
Okay.
just wander around like Heinrich?
No. I don't wander.
So, interesting point. Are you guys now going to the place that you said you were going to, or are you going to try to track down this other place?
Well, I would know how to get to Aga's, right?
Yeah.
'Cause
If you want to,
yeah.
instead of going to where you said you were going to go in the first place, continue this track out where you certainly can.
Lucky I'm not there to point out the irony.
Yeah, I feel like it's up to you, Morwen. We can go sell this, or we can go get
Oh yeah,
the
let's go
guy
sell
for
it.
your
I just
friends.
lost 250 gold.
Okay.
350 gold. 335.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Aga's then. We're
Okay.
gonna walk.
Okay.
So
You guys begin the 40-minute walk back to the Madrak. Shae and Heinrich. About an hour has passed at this point. And this quick trip, it should take about an hour to get there and an hour to get back. Maybe Calico Amir is a slow-ass walker, but it's taken some time. You hear the bustle outside kind of grow louder and then die down as things seem to return to normal, relatively speaking in Nocturne, but you hear the commotion die down a little bit outside. An hour has passed. It is probably close to 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
What is keeping them? This feels familiar.
It does.
I worry about this new guy.
Seems easily influenced.
Seems like a bad influence on Morwen.
Morwen's not there.
I mean, I got nothing to do. We're just trying to get out of here, and our way out of here is like 10 feet to our left, so... exercise patience, I suppose. I'll try that meditation again.
It is a good way to calm the mind.
Right. All right, let's do it. And I'll just sit there and try to meditate as best as I can.
You sit there and try to meditate. As you kind of close your eyes, you do that, and you try your best to meditate. We'll get back to that.
I mean, that's it.
One
That's
day,
really just a thing to
maybe.
do to pass time.
Yeah. In the meantime, you guys take 40 minutes. About 4 o'clock, you trudge into the Madrak, having climbed many stairwells, gone through this hive of a city, enclosed by the corrugated metal halls and walls, the ceilings often only about 8 feet overhead. It is crowded, and as you pass through the quarter of law, it's busier than it's been the other parts that you've been, because it is right in the afternoon. You do bump into people here and there. Here there is more families, and it is a little bit less threatening. You make your way suddenly into the Madrak, which opens up, and again, much louder. You hear it before you see it. Yeah, you can hear animal calls, you hear people laughing, and it is a place that is much more alive than the parts that you have been in. You hear owl bears here and there, lots of things. But to you, you hear home, Aka. You lead Morwen up a couple of different halls and different sets of stairs, and you get to this little shop. Let me pull it up real quick.
Roll for initiative.
Yeah. No, it's not. She doesn't dislike you. It's just you guys aren't like super close. You're not family, you know.
Yeah, I probably just tried to like steal from her shop when I was a kid.
Likely. So you walk up to this shop. It's like a little, almost. If this was anywhere else, it would be an open to the air market. Here, it's just open to the hall. There is like a big open window, almost like if you've ever seen Charlie Brown, you know, like Lucy's little stand. Imagine that, but like stretched, and iron of a little bit of a rusted nature. And you see Aga, this Goliath female, completely bald, jacked. I mean, this is a strong woman in her 50s, a little bit older. You can see there is like a little bit of a scar in one lip that seems to kind of curl. You see the tattoos on Aga, mostly centered around the collarbones, going back and over the back. She wears most Goliath don't wear a whole lot of clothes. They're cold resistant, so temperature not a huge concern to them. And within the space here, which is quite warm, they tend not to wear a ton of clothing. But you can see she is currently sitting on one side of the counter. There's a number of bits of food and various general supplies on these shelves behind her. The space is no more than 5 feet wide, 5 feet deep. There's a few things there. There is this older Goliath, he must be in his 80s, like real ancient, who's just drinking a beer at the counter. But Aga like looks up at you. Aga, right?
Yeah, long time no see. How you been, Aga? Hey.
Okay.
I've
a couple of years since I've seen you.
You know, here and there, traveling for a bit. You know, seeing the world.
Can I get you a beer?
Sure. Yeah, I actually I came because I found this nice flask and was wondering, you know, if I could sell it to you.
Okay. She pulls out this bottle, and you can see it is. Give me just 1 second here. I'll pull up Aga's shop. This is the problem. Okay. So the beer that she pulls out, it is a Goliath beer. This is something brewed locally, and it's called Spirit of the Bear. The beers that are brewed within the Modrock take after the different animals that are associated with each group. This in particular almost has like a tea overtone to it before the alcohol kind of sinks in, but it's very herbal in the nose, but not altogether unpleasant. She looks at the flask, sliding you the beer. She's about to tell you the price, but she looks at this flask and, can I see it?
By all means, take a look.
Takes it and looks at it. Looks at you suspiciously and then back down at it. Well, I know you didn't buy this.
I found it outside the Quarter of Law.
Outside the Quarter of Law, huh?
Yeah, just on the edge, you know, over by Tidewise.
She narrows her eyes a little bit. Sure. What do you want for it? And she hands it back to you.
Well, you know, I'm thinking somewhere around 400 gold might be fair.
I was thinking closer to 200, so we're going to have to meet somewhere in the middle.
All right, why not 300 then?
Right around 200.
Well, 200's not the middle of 200 and 400. That would be 300, which I think is totally reasonable.
True, but I have 200 gold, and I don't think you do, so...
Well, no, but I have this really nice flask. You could even keep it for yourself if you wanted.
Arthur, do you want it? You see this old man look over at you. No. Well, we don't want it, so have fun selling it. It's good seeing you, Aga.
I'm going to look back at Morwen like, do you want the 200 or... Maybe.
You stole it. It's for free. I'm like, what do you want for it?
I mean, maybe my friend could convince you otherwise.
Turns and looks at you. You can see Morwen, this 6'3", gray-skinned woman, bald, no eyebrows, fairly intense eyes, just kind of look at you. How are you going to convince me?
I'm gonna use. Can I Panache?
You can certainly try if you want. Yeah, why not?
Cute kitty cat eyes.
Just that really tough day, and I thought that, you know,
Her
we
friend
found
recently
this, and
passed.
I thought our luck had turned up, and I was just hoping to sell it so I can feed myself and my friends for a good amount of time. It's just been so cold and starving.
Yeah, she just lost a friend, and you know.
Morwen, make a persuasion
I'm
check.
showing her
Actually,
around
well,
here.
first of all, are you using panache?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Pinocchio.
Why not? Okay, go ahead. Make your roll, and it's against insight, right?
That's a good question. I do
I
not know.
pull it up if you're gonna use it.
It is. Yeah, it is. So you're rolling your, I believe it's your persuasion against.
Can I?
No, sorry. I think it's a persuasion check against their insight check.
Okay, that's an 18 for me.
Okay.
Can I assist with this by trying to like sell this story for her?
You get the sense, Aka, that the best way you could assist is probably just not continuing because you've sort of
Okay.
struck out on this.
Or maybe.
No, what do you want to do? You can do whatever you want.
I'm not going to do guidance because she'll know, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to do
And I'm
that.
giving her big ol' weepy cat eyes.
She looks down at you and looks over at you, Aka. Where did you even find this one?
On the
Just outside. Yeah. Just outside the city.
Let me see it again. Takes it and looks at it, kind of weighs it, opens it up and sniffs it. Ugh. Closes it up. 250 gold pieces. That's what I'll do for you and your dead friend. Sorry about that.
It's okay, that'll do.
Takes the flask, goes behind the counter, pulls out like a really rusted up metal chest onto the table, opens it up, and then pulls 250 gold pieces and various kind of dingy coins out and slides them across to you, Morwen. You could add 250 gold pieces to your inventory.
Okay, I'll split it, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was a pleasure doing business with you, Aga. Give my best to the folks, and I'll see you next time I'm in town.
My dad died, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Kind of an asshole, but
Hmm.
good
Well,
seeing you.
You too.
You see the old man just kind of chuckling with his beer.
All right.
So, where are you going now?
Okay, let's get this done.
Now let's go to
Just the time.
Calico.
But let's not casually walk. Like let's hustle a little bit. Not that I'm like bumping into people and shoving people aside, especially
Okay.
the elderly and the kids.
Sure.
Just,
I'll say at a hurried pace, not attempting to in any way look like normal human beings. You could actually probably get there in about 40 minutes instead of an hour. So, with
We'll
that
only
issue,
be an hour late.
yeah. 5 o'clock rolls around, Heinrich, and then 5:30, and then 6 o'clock. Still haven't returned.
I just stand up and like, all right, I'm gonna go get something to eat. Do you want anything, Shae? Figured wait here while they're still out.
Sure, if you find something, sounds good.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Not
I'm
picky.
gonna go to. I'm just gonna go to the bakery again.
Okay,
The
yeah.
place that, aside from the like, whatever street tacos, I'm just gonna go get.
Sure.
Bunch
Make a survival check at advantage. It's one of the few places you've been, and this is a complicated place to navigate.
Yeah.
But probably can get back there.
As we're walking, maybe we should pick up food for the gang.
Nah, they're fine.
How does you said survival?
Yep.
A 12.
A 12? Okay.
Feeling it.
You begin to travel through the halls. You see a group of people playing dice. You pass a child carrying what looks like a bat, not a baseball bat, a bat. Its large eyes kind of look at you through the furry ears and leather-like wings, but they pass. You twist through families. You find a weird little, it's almost like a park made out of metal. There's no grass, but there's benches. And you look around and you realize you have no fucking idea where you are. Based on the architecture and the people, you're not in the Madrak. You imagine you're still in the Quarter of Law, but turning around and kind of trying to find something to identify.
I can just stop and ask someone, right?
Yeah, you certainly can.
Guards?
Yeah.
Guards?
Yeah, and so there is a lot of the Nocturne First
Right.
banner around. So
Because
yeah,
we're
it's in
here
your
in
guard.
this area, so that's what I'm
I'll
gonna
say
do.
taking some time asking for directions, it takes you close to an hour, but you find your way to Always Baked.
Perfect.
But you reach this bakery, the smells hit you before it's earlier in the day, and so as you get there, this is loaded with different kinds of pastries, and you can see there is what looks like some kind of a custard setting in a pie. It is busy. There are a lot of people here, but you can see the owner, same person that you saw yesterday, just kind of like helping customers.
I'll just get, I don't know, enough for me and Shae of nothing terribly sweet, more like the savory shit.
Okay, yeah. Without any trouble, if you want to, you can get sort of like loaves of bread that have had cheese, herbs, and it looks like little bits of bacon. You'd seen Akka get something similar, but you
Yeah.
can get a full loaf and split it. That should be enough for each of
Perfect.
you.
That'll be
Um,
easier.
yeah, no problem. For two of those, it's just 2 silver pieces, or for one of those, it's 2 silver pieces, and you can split it.
Yeah. I mean, neither of us are. We don't need too much.
Sure. So
2
no problem.
silver. Perfect.
Yeah, you can add herbed bread to your inventory.
I'm not gonna bother because it'll be gone soon.
Yeah, eat it. It's tasty. You walk back, Shae, right around like 7:30 would be when Heinrich comes back, but we'll see if that's before or after. I really can't tell if it's going to be before or after. Akka, Morwen, the two of you make your way back to the 3-tided cord. It takes you 40 minutes and you speed walk there. You get some weird looks, but you make it. You find that Calico Amir is right back in the same place that he was. You cross the wood and planks. The door is already open, and as you descend, you see this hooded figure kind of on the other side of the table, almost waiting for you to get there. What are you doing? You going in?
Yep.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, look, we're not going to make a big deal about it, but I am pretty annoyed that he didn't tell us about his debt.
That's
So
fine.
just, play it cool. I'm going to walk in.
I'm cool.
And Morwen follows.
The coolest walk I have.
As you walk down, make a performance check, Morwen.
Do. How cool am I? Do. Performance.
Fucking
Natural 20. I'm so
coolest
cool.
shit ever.
I'm like,
So first,
damn, that's
Damn.
really cool.
you walk. No, Akka, you don't see it. You're first, so you walk down. You almost bump your head on the thing. You have to like duck underneath. From your perspective, Akka, you see this figure, very composed, always kind of in control, leaning on the table. Look up, and you can see they like sit back and they look. You can't see a face,
Damn.
but the body language, like they cross their arms. They're impressed and kind of not intimidated, but they are suddenly taking this a little bit more seriously. Morwen, you
Nice.
fucking strut down there like you own this place. You're, for what it's worth, you're a swashbuckler. You are so comfortable within these confines and this wooden hull. This is a place where the slight listing is what kind of made Akka almost hit his head. For you, your sea legs are more developed than your land legs. This is an easy place for you to be in. You move in this place with one hand always on the ship. This individual can tell that you belong here.
And you pop your skateboard up and flip it over your shoulder.
Yeah,
Sup.
you flip them off. Looks across both of you. I see only 2 of you have come back.
Yeah, we got it all ready for you. So the sigil's waiting. We just need you to cast the spell.
Did you find Thulian?
Oh, we found him. Yeah, you seem to have forgotten that you owe him 30,000 gold. He wasn't very happy about that. So
And is he dead now?
no, he's still alive. You didn't tell us to kill him.
It was worth a try. Okay, you come with me.
In the city.
He stands up, waves his hand, and the wood, and it's real wood, but it seems to almost form a line straight down the middle and split and open. Behind there is a small room, and you can see similar but wood, and you see very small 15 foot by 15 foot space, the whole front part of the ship probably. And on the wood, already made in this chalk, there is a teleportation circle. You can see the lorebinder sigil already inscribed upon this.
Oh. Well, I said I had the sigil.
Yes, but so did I. Where are your friends? Did they fall?
They're at the other sigil.
If you can cast this, why not just do this?
I
yourself?
can't cast it. I just know.
Very well. If you will pay Emil, Emil will come with you. I am disappointed that you could not resolve my business, but
Well, I am
suppose-
disappointed that I could not resolve your business either because I almost got killed.
yes, and I am
You
still
did?
at 30,000 gold in debt, so
Well, boo fucking who.
I mean, I'm just saying, if that's what you wanted us to do, you should have said so.
Yeah, if you
I
had
would've
said
done it.
outright, then she's a murderer. She would have been.
It's true.
I guess with that walk, you just came in.
I mean, remember the execution role?
either
You
Okay,
saw it
either
yourself.
Aka-
You got killed.
Aka or Morwen each make an intimidation check, or one of you can do so at advantage, as the other is helping.
How's your intimidation? I don't know. I don't think I'm
Probably
pretty.
the same as yours.
I'm not very intimidating.
This is metagaming, so one of you
Stop
guys
it,
either
stop
do it
it.
or
I'm
It's
just
you.
gonna roll one.
Whatever.
You're better.
It's me.
Yeah, you're better at it.
Whatever you got is gonna be it.
All right, fine. Doing it. What am I doing? I'm doing this at advantage.
Intimidation.
nope, because
No, because I rolled a 9.
try it. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
realize you rolled. Okay.
Aka puts a hand out on the table to try to intimidate, and the palm slips, and he kind of falls a little bit.
All right, 17 for me.
17. Okay,
I also walked in really cool. Remember?
I know.
that?
Trust me, I'm
Cool.
that's part of
That's
the DC.
factored into how this is going.
It is. It's part
Oh.
of the DC.
I'm
is-
also gonna
there's a
use
flat.
Flash of Genius to add +5 to that.
Okay,
To
so
who?
you flash your genius at Morwen.
To
Wait.
Morwen.
Wait. Ew.
So
because-
artificers are able to do something called flash genius, and at this current level, I believe it's +5 to a roll, and it's it doesn't scale. It's your
It's my
modifier,
intelligence modifier.
So with this flash of genius, suddenly, Morwen, your ability, this intimidation, becomes a little bit more serious. You can see Aka recovering from falling and kind of sliding. And Aka, you with your fingers weave a very, very subtle calligraphy type spell. And you can see the lights in this place cast from the little bits of daylight. Actually, no daylight anymore. It's 7 o'clock. The single lantern that casts this light seems to almost shrink. The flame draws within it, and the shadows grow long over Morwen. And those green eyes, those yellow cat eyes, gleam in the dark. As you smile, Morwen, at the mention of being a murderer, the sharp, razor sharp tabaxi teeth gleam in the darkness. You can see this individual suddenly shrink back a little bit, the mysterious figure becoming a little bit smaller. And I will say, with that, as the glove shifts and the sleeve rolls down, Morwen, you see a little bit of calico fur. But you can see Amir kind of shakes his head. Look, we've got off on the wrong foot, I think. I attempted to have you help me resolve a little bit of business. I admit, underhanded. As way of apology, perhaps I can help in some way.
Perhaps a discount on the teleporting that you were going to do? That seems reasonable.
That can be done. I could also offer you a different service if there are things that someone of my ability could help you with.
How about we talk about this on the way to the circle?
Just a minute. And you can see kind of scoops up a little bit of the powder that he had carefully laid out back into like a little sachet and ties it back up and puts it in his pocket. After you.
I lead the way back as we discuss the terms, or as Morwen and
Heinrich, you would beat them by a little bit, just barely. So you return, and about literally 5 or 6 minutes after you return, they appear.
Oh, I give Shae the bread too. I'm like, hey, sorry, I got a little lost. It's
You guys
a
munching on
little
this
hard to
bread.
find my way around here than I thought. So, but here, it's still good.
It's great. It's this very sharp cheese. It's been kind of baked, and it's just a little bit crisp, so you get that texture to it. There's the flavor of rosemary that comes off of it. It's a great bread.
Yum yum yum.
Yep. And then the door opens. Akka appears, and then Morwen, who seems oddly giddy, considering, and then hesitantly, kind of looking very different than you last saw them, Shae. Calico Amir, who steps down the stairs and seems almost a little apprehensive. But
I'm a murderer. Follow me into this hole.
yeah,
Well, actually,
yeah.
I love that when we were talking about it too. I was like, I'm a murderer, and then like
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
I kill
like
people.
I'm
Nightmare
just
face.
smiling and being pleasant, but yeah.
Literally nightmare fuel.
So yes, he comes down, looks around at all of you. You all made it. Good. Your friends have convinced me to come to help you. So before we go, is there anything else that you need to know?
Message to Shae. Do we want to know where Croddock is?
Do you think he has that ability?
I've never met this person before.
We could ask.
And I'll just kind of like shrug towards you.
Out of curiosity, Amir, would you be able to send a message to someone?
He looks at you, Shae. By magic is what you're asking. No, I am not familiar with sending. But I can look upon someone if you wish, or learn their location, or a variety of things of that nature. I'm more of a watcher, less of a speaker.
Not as helpful, I'm afraid.
Apologies.
What about you, Morwen? You got anything?
Maybe.
What?
Ah. Okay, I don't really know how scrying works, but like, does it have to be on a person? Could he scry on like the Cold Forge?
I don't know. And also, maybe not tell people where we're going.
Right.
And I just message discount, please. Now, let's leave.
I got nothing unless you can bring people back from the dead.
Once again, I'm more of a
Observer. I get it.
yes.
Yeah,
an
but you don't like
observer.
know how to.
Perhaps. Given your relationship with him at this point, and that you kind of have the power differential, you get the sense that no, he cannot. But he's trying to stay mysterious.
We'll just take the discount.
Discount sounds good.
Yeah.
Very well. Come. And he walks past you guys into the open door where you can see the circle already laid out. Looks down at the sigil, looks up at you, Akka, looks over to Shae and Heinrich. I am again kind of confused. This seems to already be ready.
Yeah, I did the legwork for you because we're, in a bit of a rush now.
Huh.
Apparently.
Well done.
Yes, a rush.
Once I begin this... Oh,
Okay.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, a rush. Very
Actually,
good
I
point.
do. We're in a bit of a rush. I have a question.
5 hours later.
No, I'm just gonna like.
Well-
it's just to him. I'm not trying to make this super public.
Sure.
I'm
Be
just
like-
the employee.
Couldn't help but notice a little haven't shaved in a while, pointing to where I saw his fur.
So as he's laying out the spell, you see the hand stop for just a second and then continue. Amir does not know of what you speak, but seeing as how you are who you are, there is a benefit to being unseen.
Okay.
That's all you say?
I don't get it.
He stops again. You are also tabaxi. You have probably noticed there are not many of our kind here. There is a reason. Things that are unusual are seen as dangerous. And you are dangerous. Take care.
Do you have a long tail or just like a short little stubby one?
He looks around. Is
That's
anybody
a
else paying
real
attention? Is
question.
anybody else paying attention to this right now?
I think like we're all just kind of standing right there near the circle, right?
So
I
you
feel like
can
it
see the
wouldn't be
tabaxi whisper.
the way I imagine this is that he's in there preparing a spell. Morwen's right behind him, and then the three of us are like just outside of the door.
That's kind of how I saw it. Yeah.
So like not standing in there with him, so we wouldn't know
So
this is going
Morwen,
on.
I mean, sorry, not Morwen. Shae, you are catching little bits and pieces of this, enough to maybe piece it together. But for everybody else, you're just kind of seeing them talk to each other a little bit. But Morwen, he says, wherever it is that you go, Tabaxi, you are not from this world. You are from somewhere else.
Are you too?
Of course.
Ooh, I've never met another. This is so wonderful. I wish we could talk more.
Well,
We have so much
maybe.
to talk about. Meow. Meow, meow, meow. That's all they hear is meow, 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 meow. No, I'm just kidding.
You watch. He kind of looks over, and you can't see the face, but for just a moment, Morwen, whatever this illusion is that is covering, and you can recognize it now as an illusion. As he turns his head, he drops it, and you can see now it is a tabaxi face, green eyes gleaming with the cat-like pupils. You can see the whiskers a little bit kind of like crimped. They look a little almost frayed. The fur is this beautiful tortoiseshell kind of calico pattern. And just as quick as you see it, the shadow reappears. He turns and just kind of shakes his head. It does not matter. But you have seen who I am, and so maybe when you find somebody who can send messages, you can talk to me. I will be here for a while longer, but soon I will move on. For a time.
I have one more question.
You can see now finished with the ritual. He's waiting to put like the little last bit in. He's about to, and then yes.
Have you ever tried to go back home?
You can't see his face, but he does pause. And it's a drawn out pause.
Pause.
He sure does.
You get 2 for that. Because
One for each paw.
he pauses. Home is such an interesting concept. I do not know if I can return, but when I drew cards earlier, did you happen to see what was on the table? For each of you, there is a card, and yours is the marionette. There is more to you than I think you know. You are not from here, even less than I am. I do not think that you are tabaxi, but close enough. For now. Goodbye, Morwen.
Oh,
And
okay.
he drops the last little bit of chalk, and suddenly the entire circle glows into a bright light, casting shadows on all of the walls. The gossamer fabric, or no, sorry, you guys are doing this in the safe house. You guys didn't end up doing it at the place. So
he doesn't get to have all the cool stuff.
I mean, it still glows blue. However, there is no gossamer fabric. The
Just
one
dirt.
painting, the kind of shitty, like it's like a still life painting that one of the people that works here did. It's like not good. It just clatters onto the ground and rattles a little bit, but flares into life, and this portal appears. You guys going through?
Yep.
One after the other.
You.
It was
Hope
nice
you
to
enjoyed your
meet
stay in Nocturne.
It's
You guys
okay.
have 6 seconds, so you're going or not? What's going on?
It was nice to
I'm
meet
not
you,
talking. I'm just
Calico.
walking through.
Going.
See you later.
Not even waiting. Going.
Morwen's the last one to go through. As you're waving, the claws just disappear, and you all find yourself in this intense experience of suddenly your stomach's so far in front of where the rest of your body is before it catches up, and it's this rubber banding of reality. The temperature is different. It is colder. However, a little bit later, the torches around you, letting the space much nicer. You find yourselves in a room, teleportation circle in stone beneath you. There are books even here. And you can see these shelves here lined with rich leather volumes. For what it is worth, you guys find yourselves within the restricted section of the Warbinder Academy. Quick look around. You're in a 10 by 10 room. No, you didn't tell anybody of your arrival. Nobody's there.
It's all right. I'm gonna give Boron a call
We're here.
later.
But as you stop, it is 12 o'clock, so this is where we're going to end for the evening. You guys made it to the Lorebinder Academy. So
Hooray!
fantastic. And you avoided a tremendously large fight, of which so this is the largest, this could have been the largest encounter that I ever ran. And I had to, because of that, actually have it going. Because I tried to do it during the week and I couldn't run it without having it right next to me because that is nuts.
Too many people. And we
but-
just.
It was great. You guys did an
It's like,
awesome job. That was
Time to
awesome.
fuck off.
Yeah. It was specifically set up in a way that would be a little bit more confusing than a traditional combat and require a little bit of a different strategy, and you used one. It was great. Unfortunately, there's a lot of loot there that you didn't get, but such as it is.
What can we do?
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us while we play D&D. It's super cool that we get to do this every week. We're not having a normal session of D&D next week because Allie and Miles will not be here. However, we have our friend Olive who is going to be joining us for a special one-shot, which is called High Noon, Low Sun. So we'll see you at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week for that special one-shot. But until then, please stay safe. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
Bye.